We also have some representatives from CFAO. Mr. Anthony Ferguson, who is one of the co-founders.
Yes.
We also have Mrs. Pamela Ferguson, the Vice President of Investments, and they are going to share how kingdom principles in being a good steward can make you better in whatever sphere of life you are in, including the church. What we are saying is, look, take kingdom principles into your sphere of life and you will achieve better. You will live better, you will walk better, and you will find yourself walking closer and closer to Jesus Christ, who is the one who died and laid his life on that cross for all of us.
Thank you so much, Bishop. That is awesome, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody who's going to be a part of Bahamas Empowerment Conference 2026. You ought to be there. Thank you for joining us on Lifeline this evening. I'm Minister Graham McKinney, and see you next time.
At Centerville, I'm LaDawn Davis. This is ZNS.
It's What's Trending with Jiminita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
It's a brand new week, and I hope it's off to an amazing start. Today is March 2nd, and welcome to What's Trending. I'm Jiminita Swain, and we have got plenty to share with you this Monday. From headlines to highlights, let's get into it. Brilliance, boldness, justice. She's taken on complex constitutional battles, overturned wrongful convictions, and is mentoring the next generation, all in a single day's work. Don't miss this inspiring sit-down of courage, resilience, and impact. Plus, teens are struggling and we're not always listening. On World Teen Mental Wellness Day, we're talking stigma, support, and what every teen needs to hear. It's time to break the silence. And of course, it's Monday. The Bahama Beauty is here to dish on the latest trends and the hottest stories in town. Tune in and see what everyone's talking about. More trends, tips, and surprises right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Has officially broken ground on their new beachfront resort on Cable Beach, a $700 million expansion which is expected to add 345 guest rooms and 77 luxury residences to the country's foremost resort destination. Soon to rise 330 feet over approximately 12 acres on the former site of the Melier-Nassau Beach, the new development marks the next phase of growth for the mega resort. President and CEO of Bahamar, Raym Davis, gave us even more insight into this latest multi-million-dollar step forward for the tourism sector.
It started at 350. We started this project with the government back about 2.5 years ago, and back then it was around 350 million. But after further studying of the site and what we could build and the cost structures going up, it's now up over 700 million. Tomorrow we're building our seawall. So Woolsley Construction, here local, will be coming out here and driving sheet piles down into the ground to protect the beach and to protect behind the beach all of the construction that will be happening. So we'll be starting with a seawall running the entire length of the property. That'll take quite a few months to do that seawall. And then the next phase, which will be this summer, will be the pilings that will go into the ground to support the foundations. Foundations will go in and we'll start going vertical by the end of the year. Well, you know, the Prime Minister said over 1,000 jobs. We're somewhere around there, all in. Direct, indirect, over 1,000. Yeah, absolutely.
For more tourism updates, Visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
Today, we launch our series, Crowned in Confidence, celebrating Bahamian women who are leading the charge in the fields for International Women's Day. Today's guest is proof that brilliance and boldness can walk into the courtroom together. We're joined by Krista Mason-Smith, a powerhouse attorney, managing partner of Muriel DeSeal & Co., and a fierce advocate for justice whose work has reached all the way to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. Dual qualified to practice in both the Bahamas and England and Wales, she has built a reputation for tackling complex constitutional issues, defending the rights of the accused, and standing firmly in cases that truly matter. But beyond the titles and the victories lies a woman deeply committed to mentorship, reform, and creating meaningful impact in her community. Today, we're diving into the journey, the challenges, and the purpose behind the practice. Welcome to What's Trending, Krista.
Thank you for having me. I am so honored to be here and in your presence.
It's great to have you here with us today. So your journey into law has been an inspiring one for us, from your early education to becoming a managing partner of a leading Bahamian law firm. What motivated you to pursue law, and how did those early experiences deal with you in terms of your approach as an attorney?
Well, believe it or not, prior to making a firm decision to pursue legal education, I wanted to be a fashion designer. Believe it or not.
Interesting.
And I'm often told that it plays out in my behavior and sometimes my clothing choice, you know. But what propelled me to follow a legal journey was really a passion for advocacy. I realized that through that platform, I would be able to help persons who may be not so knowledgeable of their rights. I saw it as a way to have a hands-on ministry. Also, I mean, I know we're pressed for time, but I would also say that I believe I had a lot of involvement in junior achievement programs, and my platform as head girl of Queen's College 2001, which caused me to be in the forefront quite a bit, advocating for persons. Not necessarily legal reasons.
So it was, either way, it was in you somewhere.
It seemed that every path I took led to law in some form or fashion, and that ultimately caused me to
fulfill
that route.
All right. So your practice spans criminal defense, constitutional law, and human rights. So how do you balance the demands of complex litigation with a personal touch that clients appreciate so much?
Anyone who comes to my office is an individual first. Whatever their needs are will be assessed, and I address it as I go on. You have to be mindful of how you treat any manner of man that comes before you. So I try to keep that to the forefront of my mind, and gently remind myself that way, that human being first, whatever it is, we'll address it and aim for the best outcome.
That makes a lot of sense. So a key...
Particularly where criminal defense is concerned.
I understand. I follow you completely.
Yes.
So a key milestone in your career, obviously, was that Privy Council victory where there was a quashing of a wrongful conviction after 12 years in prison. Can you walk us briefly through that case and why it was so significant to you personally and professionally?
Well, what I will say specific to that case is it was something I sought to take on myself after being assigned what's called a crown brief. So at a very young age, or when I first entered the legal profession, I volunteered my services for what we now call legal aid or public defense.
Yes.
At the public's purse expense. And in so doing, I was assigned this young man for a matter that has nothing to do with the Privy Council victory. It is because I noticed something that was consistent among all the charges that were levied against him, which propelled me to, of my own volition, reach out to my senior, who is Mr. Lucille Casey, who has been instrumental in my career, and some of the affiliates we work with in the UK and so forth, and say, listen, something is wrong with this.
Right.
I want to help. How can we help?
So given your experiences with challenging legal norms, such as mandatory sentencing provisions, what do you see as the most important legal reforms currently needed in the Bahamas?
Well, this ties into your previous question.
Okay.
For those who have had an opportunity to speak with me one-on-one, for those who have served on various boards with me, they would know that I am a proponent for legal representation from the start. And when I say from the start, I want to make it very layman's. From a man is arrested, whether or not he or she can afford legal representation ought to be of no moment. I want the Bahamas to come to a point where institutions such as the Public Defender's Office or even the Crown Brief Scheme handles persons who are arrested from the very beginning.
So looking forward, what upcoming goals or initiatives are you most excited about, either in your legal profession or public engagement?
I would say it would be through my most recent appointment to the Criminal Justice Board of the Bahamas.
Okay.
And I think I'm excited about this is because it ties into us being a CARICOM state.
Yes.
And our current Chief Justice, the Honorable Sir Ian Winder, KT, is the chairman of that particular board. And we are passionate about rectifying some of the outstanding challenges that the judiciary has faced over the years.
So what advice would you give to young professionals who aspire to make a difference in their community, whether it's through law or just simply public service?
My advice is always to bring your authentic self to the table. Whatever that may look like, and I make no comment other than to say it is important to remember that what God gives, He can also take away.
This is true.
If you do not keep Him at the forefront, if you lose sight of how you got here, it's important to remain humble.
Well, thank you so much, Krista, for sharing your experiences and your insights with us today. It was definitely a pleasure being here with you. Your dedication to justice, community, and excellence in laws is truly remarkable, and we look forward to see what you do with your work in the future. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
It's definitely been a pleasure. Well, more What's Trending is after the break. Stay with us.
Isn't that nice? Wait, you missed it? Ah, you haven't been on the website. Here's how TDC can help you. Whether you're turning your home into a vacation rental, pitching a business idea, or growing what you've already started, the TDC is here to help. Visit tdcbahamas.com for every conversation, event, grant, and opportunity happening near you. Tourism is all of our business, and the TDC is here to support yours.
Today, March 2nd, we join the global observance of World Teen Mental Wellness Day, a day dedicated to raising awareness about the mental health challenges teenagers face and working to break the stigma surrounding them. Teen mental health is no longer a quiet issue. It's a growing reality affecting families, schools, and communities everywhere. Conversations like this one matter. To help us unpack what teens are facing and how we can better support them, we're joined by advocate and executive director of Teen Challenge, Eric Fox, a passionate champion for the rights and well-being of young people. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thanks, good to be here.
It's great to have you here with us. So from Eric, or rather Eric, from what you've seen, what are some of the biggest mental health challenges teens are dealing with today?
From my experience, you'll find that most of the times when I would counsel young persons who might want to come for help, once you do a history check on them, you will find that a lot of them have mental health issues run through their families.
Okay, so it's a familial issue.
That's from your experience. From my experience.
And what would some of those conditions look like?
Sometimes you'll never see it. But one of the main components that will cause it to come up is if they start to experiment with marijuana.
Okay, so drug use would expose whatever mental issue.
Depends sometimes, because marijuana is a psychological drug.
So why do you think teenagers are struggling so much today as compared to past generations?
Well, teenagers always struggled, It's just that living in this type of world we live in now with social media.
The digital age.
They are exposed to a lot, and we are very much Americanized. And so a lot of persons sort of copy people who they listen to.
Yes.
Music.
Their idols.
Yeah, their idols. They sort of copy them and then try copy their life. And,
that makes a lot of sense.
They see them bottles and drinking and hanging out, so a lot of young people try to copy that.
And so even though we've been talking about mental health and the challenges, we see that many teens still remain silent in terms of the issues that are bothering them. Why do you think that is?
A lot of teenagers really can't talk to their parents, because you will see that a lot of parents, they have their mindset on working, and then they got this what they want these kids to be and how these kids should fit in to their program, and then a lot of them try to actually live again through their kids.
Right.
The things they didn't do, they try to impose it on them. And then you have a lot of kids who are really not comfortable sitting down with their parents and say, something, this is something I really want to do. This area you trying to send me in, whether it's education, whether, this is not my dream, this is not my desire. So, and then a lot of them, they are criticized for the things what they really want to do. And so what they do, they suppress it, and then they talk to their friends who they trust.
And sometimes the friends are not necessarily ones to give them.
But that's the problem right there. That's the main problem. Friends who they trust, they have a tendency to open up to them more than open up to their parents. A lot of parents, they really don't want to hear some things. Some things they really don't want to hear.
That is true. So then what are some of the signs that adults should look out for that a teen might be struggling?
Well, you will find this once they start, change their companies. You'll find that most of the persons who they grow up with, they sort of withdraw from them. Then they be alone a lot.
And as someone who advocates for teens, why is mental health such an important part of protecting their rights?
Mental health is very important. And I'm going to say something here. It's always been my vision or my goal to have a particular place where we can put these people. I know we send them to Sandlands, and then they go and they get help for a while, and then they come out and they relapse. You'll find there's a lot of individuals you see, mostly adults, standing up on corners begging for monies and stuff like that, and then they get locked up for vacancy, they go to prison, and that just messed them up even more with the prison system. There should be a place where these people can be treated with dignity. It's obvious they can't function in the regular world. So there's be a place where they're treated with dignity, where they get recreation, they get a time where they get visitation. They're talking about a nice place.
So overall rehabilitative experience is what you're saying.
A nice environment where you can put these persons where they can be treated with dignity, and the family should come and visit them, and not a prison, not a place like Sandlands. They get locked up and then they get abused, and then they go.
So much things happened. So then what can parents or teachers do differently to make teens feel safe about opening up, about talking, so they are dealing with persons that can give them sound advice or guidance?
You would really have to be a person who really have a keen interest. And I'm not, teachers don't take this as criticism. I'm really not knocking them. They try hard. Teachers that
they do.
They work hard.
They work hard indeed.
They work hard. But you will find that most of the kids who start to act out, when they become a problem, then they go under pressure. And a lot of what I'm talking about from my own experience.
Right.
My own experience. I had psychosis, and because of my home situation, I started to act out. I was really not a bad person, but I started to act out. But there was no one there to talk to. There was one lady by the name of Miss Thurston, who was the principal of the school at the time. She really took me in and mentored me and tried to help me get me involved in the Red Cross and the Boy Scout. But
what message would you want every teen listening today to hear? What would be your message to them to let them know that there's help, there's hope? You don't have to struggle alone. If you feel like you're having some mental issues, what would you tell them?
There are agencies that they can reach out to. They have school psychologists, they have counselors within the school, and I think they can go to these individuals.
Well, that's definitely some good advice there. And we know that today's conversation reminds us that mental wellness is not just a trending topic, it's a shared responsibility. We have to break the stigma. Thank you to you, Eric, for joining us today and sharing how important this issue is and why we should continue to advocate for the youth. Thank you so much again. From making a real-life impact to what's trending right now, the hottest stories, the internet drama, and everything people can't stop talking about on the other side of the break.
Heaven, I'm in heaven. And my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. Out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
I'm Jordan, by the way. Tom.
Bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding bang. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding bang. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding bang.
What's trending in business? Who's making major money moves? And how's it shaping your future? This is Economics, your front row seat to the biggest stories in business, innovation, and finance. Powered by the Sand Dollar, the digital currency of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It's fast, secure, Bahamian. We're breaking down the numbers, the news, and what it means to you. Tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the trends, the insights, and the stories that matter. Get informed, get inspired, get in the mix with Economics.
Your go-to for everything trending, talked about, and turning heads. The Bahama Beauty is about to take over your screens with social media moments you can't ignore.
Rising tensions between the United States and Iran have escalated into an active military conflict, with the U.S. and allied forces launching large-scale strikes targeting Iran's military infrastructure. According to reports, hundreds of targets, including missile systems and defense facilities, have been hit as part of an ongoing operation. Iran has responded with missile and drone attacks across the region, with multiple countries reporting interceptions and damages as fears of a wider conflict continue to grow. U.S. officials say the mission is designed to be strategic and limited, not an endless war. With casualties already reported and tensions running high, the world is watching very closely. Things are getting spooky in real life and on the big screen. The trailer for the new Scary Movie installment, Scary Movie 6, has officially dropped, reviving one of the most iconic parody franchises in comedy history. Known for its wild spoofs of horror classics and pop culture moments, the new film is already generating buzz online. Fans are excited to see what modern movies and viral trends will get the parody treatment, while others are wondering if it can capture the magic of the originals. Either way, people are definitely watching. And speaking of the internet doing a double take, Jim Carrey is trending after a recent appearance at a French film festival left fans shocked. The actor, known for his high-energy roles and expressive style, looked noticeably different, sparking a wave of reactions online. Some fans expressed concern, others pointing out that the star has been living a much more private life in recent years. But as always, when it comes to the internet, everyone has an opinion, especially about him being a clone. And finally, a story that has social media talking and side-eyeing. The CEO of McDonald's is facing backlash after a video of him trying one of the brand's newest burgers was posted. The problem? Viewers say his reaction looked less than convincing.
First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. All right, the moment of truth. That is so good.
In the clip, he appears to take a bite, but his expression has many questioning whether he actually liked it. And of course, social media did not hold back. Memes, jokes, and commentary quickly flooded the internet, with many saying, if the CEO doesn't look sold, why should we be? Just another reminder, on the internet, every reaction gets analyzed. From global headlines to Hollywood comebacks to viral moments you can't escape, the conversation is only getting started.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales here at CBS Bahamas, where we help you to build beautiful. When it comes to outfitting your new home with beautiful architectural products, we represent prestigious brands such as PGT, Gelwin, Steelcraft, and Overhead Door. If you're looking for new windows or doors, custom made for your new house, be sure to email us at sales@cbsbahamas.com.
Sweet and spicy, marinated right, tossed with chili. Garlic and ginger have many flavors, like honey barbecue.
Signature hot wings, turn down the heat for you. Ghost pepper wings, what's your flavor?
Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken, you know. So many flavors to try. What's your flavor? Honey barbecue, sweet and spicy, all new.
Signature hot wings.
What's your flavor? Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken, you know.
Ghost pepper wings.
The Cabinet Office wishes to advise the general public that daylight savings time will commence on Sunday, the 8th of March at 2 a.m. and will continue until 2 a.m. on Sunday, the 1st of November, 2026.
On Tuesday's show, what happens when global sound meets global taste? Heineken, Coachella, one unforgettable experience. We're talking music, culture, energy, and a trip you'll wish you were on. Well, thanks for watching. Stay connected with us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. See you later.
At the House of Assembly, I'm Lakush Lapinder. This is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Confidential but concluded. The Prime Minister says he's pleased with the outcome of the Port Authority arbitration. Plus, the Grand Bahama Chamber President defends foreign investment. And the Consumer Protection Commission tolling out its mobile price app in Bimini.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
And welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis indicating that a partial decision has been made in the long-running arbitration between the government of the Bahamas and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. The matter centers around the government's claim that the Port Authority owed some $357 million to the public purse for services provided in Freeport. Today, reports emerging that the arbitration process has been concluded. When asked by reporters, the Prime Minister confirmed that a partial decision has in fact been reached, but declined to provide details, citing confidentiality. What? Meantime, the president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce is underscoring the critical role private investment has played in shaping Freeport's development, noting that the city stands where it is today largely because of foreign funding. The chamber president's remarks come amid reports surfacing about a possible sale of the GBPA, a development that could have significant implications for the island's economic future. Rumiko Knowles has the details in this report.
The 40-odd thousand people in Grand Bahama only exist in Grand Bahama because private money decided to build Freeport.
President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Dylan Knowles, is highlighting the importance of private investment in Freeport following reports in January that a Bahamian-led consortium is seeking to raise more than $400 million to purchase the Grand Bahama Port Authority and several of its core economic assets. Knowles says the city's growth has been largely fueled by private capital, a model that has shaped Freeport's development over decades without burdening the public treasury.
The reality of it is that private enterprise has always been more efficient and more effective than governments are. They have a whole totally different perspective on life. They have a totally different organizational management structure.
But looking at the island's history, Knowles says the path forward is clear.
In the beginning, the Grand Bahama Port Authority approached the government as a developer. Right. Okay? And it fundamentally said, if you sell me this land and provide me some concessions, and again, people always view concessions wrong, but we'll probably get back to that at a different point. If you provide me some concessions, we will use our money and our expertise to build a city. And in the first decade or so, they did just that.
But after earlier investments failed to benefit Bahamians, Knowles says a shift in policy occurred, one that set the tone for Freeport's economic landscape today.
We took over not in a visible way, but in a very invisible way, control over investment in Freeport Lucaya. And we haven't recovered since then.
He adds that continued private investment is key to sustaining the city's growth and ensuring its long-term prosperity.
We need to get back to the conditions that created the first 20 years without the, for lack of a better word, the segregation of the first 20 years.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Ramiko Knowles.
Thanks, Ramiko. Meantime, business owners in Grand Bahamas say they're making bold investments in their own economy, signaling renewed confidence in the island's future. After enduring the devastating blows of Hurricane Dorian and the prolonged slowdown caused by COVID-19, many say the tide is finally turning. Our ZNS News team hit the streets where there are reports of steady increases in sales, stronger customer traffic, and a noticeable rise in the overall commercial activity. As Yolanda Thompson-Everest reports, optimism is growing, momentum is building, and Grand Bahamas' economic revival is taking shape from the ground up.
Business owners say they are seeing encouraging improvements in both sales and economic activity. From retail to service-based businesses, entrepreneurs say they are seeing customer spending steadily increasing, a sign they believe reflects renewed confidence and growth in the island's economy.
Well, I decided to locate my business downtown because downtown has a high volume of traffic. And so you will find that more people traverse downtown, so it makes it easier to make money.
I saw it was a need for another wash and press, so I decided to venture on my own, and business has been good.
In my shop, we do teeth whitening. So that's basically what the shop about, but I also offer other services. From I started, things have been great. Like, I know back then it was a little slow and stuff like that, but things have been really, really great for my business. And the lady next door, she has traffic, so it also brings traffic to my business also.
Although some of these business owners are relatively new to the area, entrepreneur Ricky Martin, who owns an auto parts store, relocated downtown after the opening of Solomon's. Martin says Sundays now feel just like Saturdays, with the parking lot often full as customers pack the area, a clear sign that business is thriving.
I start because everybody come to get their tents, everybody come to get license plate screws, everybody get their covers, license plates. So and they pull up there with the new cars, so I say, okay, it booming.
When asked about challenges and concerns, some of these business owners say they have none at all, while others point to the high pricing of business licenses.
We're about to expand in Nassau now, and the license fee is like $100 a year, compared to like in the port area, you pay like $2,500 a year.
Ultimately, they say Grand Bahama is well positioned for growth and continued development. With rising customer traffic, fresh investments, and a renewed sense of confidence, pointing to a strong and promising future for the island's business economy.
Well, I think Grand Bahama economy is growing, and I think electronics will always fit into, the growth of our economy, because as technology evolves, so will be the demand for electronics.
Definitely the economy is growing. I see it in my business. Every day, new entrepreneurs opening up. The car wash came back to come in town when I started renovating Solomon's. There were hundreds of shop space available. Now there are no shop space available in downtown area. The traffic, the foot traffic, Sundays, now I'm open up on Sundays as well because Solomon's is open. So the whole plaza that I'm in is almost open up on Sunday. Almost everyone in the plaza.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Yolanda Thompson-Everest.
In In continuing with the rollout of its mobile price app, the Northern Bahamas branch of the Consumer Protection Commission is traveling to Bimini. The new digital tool designed to give consumers more control at the checkout line is quickly taking shape. Chief Price Inspector Reno Smith says the mobile price app will allow consumers to compare food costs across stores before they even leave home, a benefit that can save time, gas, and energy for many shoppers.
The government has softly launched the Price Pal app, which encourages persons and which will be made available to all and sundry in the Bahamas for them to be able to check prices. It will help in the providers of foods, the food stores, to be more competitive in their pricing. And so before you leave home, say you want a bag of rice or grits or what have you, you'd be able to use this app on your phone to ascertain who has your brand of rice and grits or whatever and how much they're selling it for.
Meanwhile, as the CPC's registration initiative is being implemented nationwide, Smith says mom and pop stores will not be excluded, as this would ensure smaller community shops are fully integrated into the system and will be able to compete alongside larger retailers. He also reminded residents that tax relief on food items is set to take effect soon.
Moms and pops are not exempted, and so that's what we did in Abaco the other day. We registered the big conglomerates as well as all of the moms and pops. And so in Bimini all this week, we will be registering and scanning all the food items. And we also want to take this opportunity to remind consumers that in less than a month, VAT will be removed completely from all foods. And so they need to be aware of that.
Well, in other news, showers may have delayed the start, but they could not dampen the spirit of Junior Junkanoo as youngsters took to the streets in a vibrant celebration of the Hayman culture. Rumiko Knowles has the recap.
Showers of blessing may have delayed the start of the 2026 Junior Junkanoo Parade, but it certainly did not stop the celebration. Once the all-clear was given, youngsters took to the parade route, bringing energy, color, and culture with every step. Malta Parker Primary led the way with their theme, Our Islands in the Sun, setting the tone early and leaving one parade watcher believing they were the ones to beat.
Walter Parker, the faces!
Closely behind was Hugh Campbell Primary School, taking spectators back in time with games we played. Lewis Yard Primary followed with the ultimate game, Rush Out. Dancers adorned as playing cards, while the music section brought popular game characters to life. The Beacon School was fourth out the gate, taking parade watchers on a journey through Egypt with their creative and culturally rich presentation. Sister Mary Patricia Russell taking parade watchers through the Enchanted Forest. From there, Bartlett Hill Primary closed out the primary school division with their aviation-themed presentation, Flight 242, Come Go With Me. The senior schools also delivering a show-stopping performance. Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy took to the route first with their theme, Boots on the Ground. Next was St. George's High School with Echoes of the Savannah. Jack Haywood Senior High School presenting Mystical Wonders of Egypt. And 8 Mile Rock High School giving attendees a taste of Africa. When it was all said and done, St. George's claimed victory in the senior division. Preschoolers were unable to take the parade route due to inclement weather. However, their moment is still to come.
They're at a time and a date that the principals and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture come to agreement with. So we want the public to know that the preschoolers will get their opportunity to shine and see who become victorious for the 2026 year.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Rumiko Knowles.
Now, although a winner was announced in the Senior Schools Division of the 2026 Junior Junkanoo Parade, questions arose about the primary division results. Officer in charge at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Norris Bain, clarified that due to inclement weather just before the parade began, all relevant parties agreed that the primary school division would not be judged this year.
I know that the minister and the NJC, along with the teachers, came to an agreement that The only group that would be judged and where they would be judging for would be the senior high schools. And I think there was a reading of the primary school results, which should not have happened. So we just wanted to let them know that the kids had a good time in spite of the inclement weather. And there's no winner or loser in the primary school division.
Bain adds that discussions are ongoing to host a special ceremony where a special donation to all 4 participating primary schools would be made.
In the process of trying to get, not trophies, get trumpets and some drums, and all 4 of the schools would be given equal share in the primary division of whatever prizes we are able to give. So there's no first, second, third, or 4th place finish during this year's Junior Junkanoo Parade. Hopefully, Lord's willing, next year we'll be able to resume the battle for who's really number 1 in the primary, pre-primary, and high and all age divisions of Junior Junkanoo.
And still to come.
Plans for a national museum in Grand Bahama are moving forward. We'll have that story plus sports highlights when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this one, sis.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CD. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
Princess Court Mentoring Ministries presents its 2026 mentoring program at Central Zion Baptist Church, 8 Mile Rock. Girls ages 5 to 18 are invited to experience this life-changing journey March 7th through the 29th. Transportation is available from Burger King downtown. Call 351-8311 for more information.
At Save More Drugs, we got you. We got what you want. We got what you need. We got what you came for. The quality you expect. The prices you need and deserve. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Psst. Guess what? Budget Pest Control has something important to show you. Cocta termites vermicalis, the super termite. What makes them super? Their ferocious appetite can attack your home from below and above. They even attack forestry. But don't worry. Budget Pest Control has extensively studied this species on Grand Bahama. You can even check out our scientific paper. So you can count on us to protect your investment. Call Budget Pest Control, the termite specialist.
Your number 1 team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. Plans for a national museum in Grand Bahama are moving forward as the Minister for Grand Bahama toured the site of the future facility. The minister says it is a space expected to blend culture, history, and community engagement.
Just adds to, those tangible things that we're seeing, tangible projects that we are seeing, projects that people, don't even realize it's happening. They see the building being, renovated, which used to be the Richie's Calypso building that so many of us are familiar with. But it's going to be an indoor and outdoor experience.
We have the privilege, really, of a really diverse history. Unfortunately, Grand Bahama has suffered a loss of a lot of its historical locations through hurricanes and natural disasters. What we want to do really is to reconnect people with the actual history of the country.
The development of this National Museum site in Grand Bahama brings together regional partners from the Dominican Republic. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, says it complements the Afro-Caribbean marketplace and expands opportunities within the creative and cultural space.
Nosotros, la República Dominicana, estamos muy emocionados de venir a colaborar con este proyecto. Es un acercamiento de Bahamas y la República Dominicana con sus ministerios de cultura.
We are very excited about this new project because it's like a step forward in the collaboration between the Dominican Republic and Bahamas in this cultural museum project.
My whole focus with this is to make sure that our young people, all of our students, learn about who we are so that we are always proud to be Bahamian, proud to know our roots.
Mangrove conservation and awareness efforts are taking another leap to extend its reach throughout the country following a 2-day session with the Mangrove Action Project and Earth Care. The seminar, attended by school teachers across the island, emphasizes the importance of preserving one of nature's most versatile habitats. Speaking with founder of Earth Care, Gail Woon, she shares her appreciation for the collaborative effort and notes how vital endeavors like this one can be to future restoration projects.
We've actually been working with Mangrove Action Project on various different projects for many years, and most recently learning about how to do the restoration after Dorian. So people from Mangrove Action Project came and trained a lot of the people who are environmentally minded in the proper ways to do mangrove restoration.
Education Program Manager for Mangrove Action Project, Cassandra McDowell, invites the general public to remain involved and educated on the environmental impact left behind.
There's lots of YouTube videos and online resources. Also attending public events like beach cleanups or mangrove cleanups, or just getting out into nature and appreciating what you have locally. It is some of the most beautiful mangrove habitats I've seen. I've done a lot of traveling around the Caribbean and the world, and your mangroves are some of the clearest, most beautiful habitats I've seen on my travels. So getting out and exploring and appreciating what you guys have.
And now it is time for our weekly Health is Wealth tips, sponsored by Doctors Hospital.
Heart attack occurs when the flow of blood to the heart muscle is blocked, most often by buildup of fat and cholesterol, which form a plaque in the tiny arteries that feed the heart. It's important to remember that a heart attack symptoms can vary, but in every case, it is a serious, life-threatening emergency. Some of the symptoms can be chest pressure tightness, pain or squeezing, or an aching sensation in your chest or arms that may spread to your neck, jaw, or back. Nausea, indigestion, heartburn, abdominal pain, shortness of breath, cold sweat, fatigue, lightheadedness, or sudden dizziness. Most heart attacks occur at home. We know that in many cases, having someone who knows the basics of life-saving CPR and renders assistance to the victim of a heart attack can increase their chances of surviving. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and remember, your greatest wealth is your health.
Well, it's that time for our Facebook friend of the night, Mary Ramming. We salute you and thank you for always watching your #1 source in the North. And that's a look at stories making news. Shane, what's happening in sports?
The GV Sailing Club is back from New Providence. They had a couple of top place finishes at the Sir Derwent Knowles National Sailing Championships.
Love sailing. All right, thanks, Shane. Well, sports going to be your way next, right after the break.
Here at Island Bedding, we provide Bahamians a local option for factory direct quality sleep products. We have also expanded to include a range of furniture and home accessories. Check out our new living room pieces, including sectional, TV stands, accent tables, and more. Come on down to Island Bedding and feast your eyes on prices you have to see to believe. Located at number 5 Queens Highway, across from Caribbean Veterinarian.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Save more drugs, from cosmetics to prosthetics what you need for your family, the brands you're looking for, the quality you expect, vitamins you need, and prescriptions you came for. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Welcome to the ZNS Total Sports Cave, everyone. I'm Shane Stubbs. The Grand Bahama Sailing Club is back from the Sir Derwent Knowles National Junior Sailing Championships. Darren Cooper went in with one goal, consistency. Well, mission accomplished. He sailed his way to a third-place finish in the Opti Championship fleet.
I remember going to that regatta like 2 years ago and last year. I didn't bring back nothing. I was at the bottom of the fleet, and that was my main goal. I wanted to give up. Like, the wind was so light. It was horrible at some points, and I feel good. Being consistent, that really took me through and allowed me to get this, and I'm very proud of myself.
Hayley Williams not only captured third place, but she was also the top female in the Opti Green Fleet, while young Conan Wells enjoyed the experience despite finishing 23rd overall.
The first race, I placed 4th, but in the second race on the first day, I got 2nd. That gained my points. But on the second day, I made sure I kept my spot in the top 3.
The experience was nice. I loved everything about it. I just liked being on the water there, and since it was my first time sailing on another island, I just had to enjoy it.
Meanwhile, Team Bahamas came up short in their second game of the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. They fell to Puerto Rico 77-66 despite an all-around effort from Franco Miller Jr. The Grand Bahama native stuffed the stat sheet with 19 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, while being active on defense, coming away with 3 steals. Now, Team Bahamas will be back in action this summer here in the 242, where they'll welcome Jamaica and Puerto Rico July 3rd and July 6th. And rounding things up with Week 2 scores from GB Little League action. In 8-under play, the Lions ousted the Red Sox 6-2. Over on the under-10 diamond, the Bahama Rock Miners survived the high-scoring affair with the Royals, getting the W 19-14. In 12-and-under action, the Tigers stunned the FES Royals 8-4. And on the under-16 boys side, the Lions got by the Yankees 13-8.
And that is your sports fix. Your check on the local weather forecast is next. I'm Shane Stubbs. Catch you all on the rebound.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Save More Drugs. We got you. From cosmetics to prosthetics, what you need for your family, the brands you're looking for, the quality you expect, the prices you need and deserve. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Hello. What time's the flight?
No one asked us to go. Hello? Into the storm. Into the chaos. To witness devastation. No one asked us to go.
Are you ready?
Because it's the story that drives us forward, that brings truth to light, that connects us all. This is why we go.
Breaking news out of Grand Bahama, our Raven Davis has been covering this story all day and joins us live now with the latest. Raven, what can you tell us?
Yes, Rumiko, I had a chance to speak to many of the residents, and many of them are concerned about...
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Raven Davis.
I'm Shane Stubbs.
Thank you so much for tuning in. The Bahamas Tonight is coming your way next.
Tune in to
to a special broadcast of the Caribbean Development Bank's 2026 Annual News Conference on ZNS Bahamas, Tuesday, March 3rd at 4:30 p.m. EST. Hear directly from the bank's leadership as they outline priority actions to boost resilience, growth, and sustainable development for all Caribbean people. Be sure to join us.
The Cabinet Office wishes to advise the general public that daylight savings time will commence on Sunday, the 8th of March at 2 a.m. and will continue until 2 a.m. on Sunday, the 1st of November, 2026. What you see on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcasted by this television station. The code is available on IRCA's website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
At the House of Assembly, I'm Lakush Lapinder. This is ZNS. Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, what the Prime Minister has to say in the face of a widening deficit 6 months in. Serious concerns over local prices at the pumps amid Iran's escalating conflict. Hear the advice of a petroleum dealer in the face of uncertainty. And pick-up day for eligible voters of certain constituencies as officials push ahead with modernizing the electoral process. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. A major legal showdown with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line appears to have reached a turning point. But while a ruling has been issued in the dispute between the government and Freeport's quasi-governmental authority, the public's being left in the dark. Here's what we do know and what remains under wraps. Our Leah Cooper has the story.
A decision reportedly handed down in the high-stakes arbitration showdown between the government of the Bahamas and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. It's a battle involving claims of up to $375 million. But if you're looking for answers, there's really none to report. Speculation growing following businessman Darren Cooper's comments Monday morning on Grand Bahama radio station The Rhythm. At the time, he suggested the government may have lost the case. ZNS News, however, reached out to officials on both sides. The response, a firm wall of silence. Arbitration rules, they say, demand confidentiality. The dispute, which simmered for some time, centers on government claims that the port failed to meet key obligations under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, including infrastructure upgrades, economic development commitments, and regulatory oversight in Freeport. The Davis administration argues the GBPA owes the public treasury roughly $357 million. Today, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, while fielding questions from reporters on the matter, said only this.
I can tell you that the decision has been made. A partial decision has been made, but I can't say any more than that.
Asked to clarify what a partial decision means.
They've done a decision, made a decision, and requiring the parties to do other things. But as I said, I cannot say any more now.
ZNS News also reached out to GBPA President Ian Roll, who via text affirmed that the arbitration process is subject to strict confidentiality obligations, and we are bound by those terms. Accordingly, we are not able to confirm, deny, or comment on any aspect of the proceedings. For now, the ruling remains sealed, speculation is swirling, and both sides are staying tight-lipped. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Leah Cooper.
Now, still on Grand Bahama, Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson claims some long-serving workers of the Grand Lucayan Resort are not too happy, not after receiving much less than they were entitled to in redundancy payments. His comments follow the government's decision to introduce a targeted redundancy exercise at the Grand Bahama Resort.
They're fuming because they were told on radio and in the paper that I agreed with those two people, and both of them wait for the government, that I cut a deal, so to speak, that deprived them of what they're entitled. One of the ladies was there for 29 years. I don't function like that. And we broke it down, you know. Every worker, we have a figure. We submitted to the government in November of last year.
Meantime, Ferguson is threatening legal action against the Director of Labor, Howard Thompson, and Chief Labor Consultant with the government, Bernard Evans. He alleged that Thompson and Evans claimed he met with them and came to an agreement regarding redundancy payouts for Grand Lucayan workers. However, Ferguson claims the meeting never happened, prompting the legal action. Well, in other news this evening, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Philip Davis, is responding to critics who claim the government's arrears have doubled compared to the same period last year. Midway through the 2025-2026 fiscal year, and the government's recorded a deficit of $342 or $2 million, or $0.2 million, or 2.1% of GDP, compared to $367.7 million in the same period the previous year.
Invite them just to look at what the international agencies are saying about our management of the economy. Because if I say it, you're going to say it's political. Right? But we are satisfied in our management, and we are not alarmed at all by what our half-term results are.
In related news this evening, regional leaders being challenged to see sports and culture as serious economic engines. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honourable Fred Mitchell, pitched as much to stakeholders of the Bahamas Business and Investment Forum at the Belgrove Resort, West Palm Beach, Florida. Citing remarks made by former Jamaican Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, Mitchell highlighted the global earning power of cultural icons.
He gave the example that the estate of Bob Marley, the late Bob Marley, the Jamaican artist, he said was the third highest grossing estate for royalties, I think behind the Beatles and Michael Jackson. So there's money to be made in culture, money to be made in sports. And of course, we all know the success of Usain Bolt. We know the success of Tony Darling and the $1 million she won as she was running track in that successful Diamond League. So we were remarking that you have at least 4 Bahamians, I believe, in the NBA today. You have perhaps another 4 in Major League Baseball in the United States. So clearly, this is a potential growth industry for our people.
But he stressed that talent alone isn't enough. He's pushing for financial literacy, stronger support systems, and a clear national strategy, so young stars don't just earn wealth, but sustain it. And the minister says the government is putting that framework in place.
The Bahamas government, you may know, has invested in something called CAPAS, which is called the Creative and Performing Arts School. It's been established by Ian Poitier, who is a trained producer, Oxford trained. He is Bahamian. He's Ed Bethel's nephew. A couple of weeks ago, they did a launch with the first production of the Creative and Performing Arts School. And the idea is that that eventually we will feed into film, theater, performing arts, all of which should cause Bahamians to be able to invest in their talents and bring the money back home to enrich the country.
Coming up, a new housing subdivision here in the capital. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. That and more in a moment.
You have enough things to worry about.
living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
John, I just found out that KFC has an irresistible promo.
Crunch into the juicy flavor of the new KFC Wrap Star. A classic made modern that's crunchy, melty, and grilled to perfection for all the journeys of your day. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Whether you need life insurance, an endowment plan, or health insurance, BAF has you for all stages of your life.
Sweet and spicy, marinated right, tossed with chili. Garlic and ginger have many flavors, like honey barbecue.
Signature hot wings, turn up the heat for you.
Those pepper wings, what's your flavor? Roasted garlic parmesan, taste so good, chicken. So many flavors to try. What's your flavor? Honey barbecue, sweet and spicy all new.
Signature hot wings.
What's your flavor? Roasted garlic parmesan, taste so good, chicken. Those pepper wings.
You're looking at a shot there of Marathon Road near the mall at Marathon, leading to the intersection of the capital's busiest thoroughfare. That shot courtesy of our drone pilot, Shane Gibson Jr. Welcome back. Dozens of Bahamians will soon be turning keys to homes in Vispin Meadows, a new government subdivision in the Carmichael Road area. Getting a close-up view this afternoon was Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis, who, along with Housing Minister the Honourable Keith Bell, toured the area.
We're going to continue to build homes. The demand is great. We are attempting to meet that demand. What you see here is just, again, another step in the direction of ensuring that we are providing affordable homes for our people.
Yeah, that said, Housing Minister the Honourable Keith Bell gives us more insight into the subdivision.
This subdivision comprised of 35 new homes, as well as it will also comprise of a 12-unit structure for families for rent-own program. Of note, all of these homes are being built by small Bahamian contractors.
Also on the Prime Minister's schedule today, verifying his voter registration to obtain the newly issued biometric voters cards. As Killarney constituency residents, Mr. Davis and his wife headed to the Cable Beach Post Office, where parliamentary registration officials led them through the entire process. Meantime, more than 2,000 registered voters in the Killarney, Carmichael, and St. James constituencies were today eligible to pick up their cards from the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gymnasium. Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson says it's all part of a push to modernize the country's electoral process.
We started the process here at the headquarters on Saturday, and we shifted to Kendall Isaacs Gym for the rest of this week and beyond. This is the first phase of the issuing of these cards, And we hope that we'll be able to inform the public very soon as when the other constituencies will be called in to collect their cards.
Well, that said, Thompson tells the public to stay tuned for the announcement regarding their constituency.
We would have several public announcements. We'll use a lot of PSA, even on social media, so that the public could be well advanced and well advised as to when to come in to pick up their cards.
In related news, the Coalition of Independents has to find another candidate to contest the Central and South Eleuthera seat in the next general election. COI Chair Charlotte Green confirming in a release that Christian Hastie has decided to step aside based on personal reasons. Hastie assuring, though, that he'll always stand for the Family Island community. Green says the coalition respects Hastie's decision and thanks him for his willingness to offer himself for national service. The statement adding that despite the development, the COI is committed to the people of Central and South Eleuthera. Now, Hastie's withdrawal comes fresh on the heels of the COI ratifying a mother, pastor, and justice of the peace, Dr. Karen Butler, as its St. Barnabas candidate after Valentino McKenzie recently backed out the race due to health reasons. Butler will go head-to-head with the governing party's Michael Hakidis and the Free National Movement's Jamal Moss. Well, all this talk about candidates' ratifications and launches. Outgoing Bahamas Christian Council President Apostle Gelson Fernanda calling for peace and calm ahead of the general election. The BCC head says he's met with members of both major political parties to hear their issues and concerns and challenged them ahead of the much-anticipated national poll.
The beautiful thing about the council, you might not know, and I'm giving this to you now. We've met with two of those that will offer themselves. We met with the government of the day. We had a very robust meeting with them, and they would have given what they felt were their successes. We would have challenged them on some points. We would have challenged them on what it is that they're going to do with some of the bills that lie on the table. We did the same with the FNM, with the leader of the opposition. He spent 3 hours on his feet speaking with us, and we challenged them. And this is what the church does. And if it is the wish of the COI, we will do the same. They will host us, and we will question them. And so as we go into election, we ask for to be peaceful, respectful, and that God's name be praised.
As the council serves as the country's moral compass, Fernando reasons that its relationship with the state needs to deepen.
Every leader comes in with a spiritual advisor. Every leader comes in with somebody they count on and they trust. And it's difficult to trust a voice you do not know. I believe we could do better because sometimes it's just a placation. They just want to know that they tick the box, that they met with us. I believe that at some point we have to get a better relationship with church and state because we are all pillars of the society. If you don't respect me, how can you expect others to respect you?
From the courts, police wasting no time bringing a suspect to court in connection with that double homicide on Harbor Island last week. From all reports, Kristen Francis and Michael Reckley were standing outside a bar when a gunman opened fire. Detectives have pinned down the assailant as 26-year-old Samson Joseph, who appeared today before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He's been charged with 2 counts of murder. Joseph's been remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until July 23rd, when a voluntary bill of indictment will be served. Well, feelings of depression almost getting the better of a 32-year-old man here in the capital late this morning. Police said it was just after 11 a.m. that they answered an anonymous call about a man attempting to take his life, having tied a rope to a cabana in a park in the Faith Gardens community. Investigating officers rushed to the scene and soon found out that the man was feeling depressed. He was rushed to hospital for medical treatment and further evaluation.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Full Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
We're training for the bounce back. That's $150K payday. You all ready? You want to walk for this or you want to run for this? Good pace, good pace. Not too much water. Put that parlay in. Put that in. You know, Jalen Bronson disappointed us last time. You spin, right? Yeah, it don't look so. It's 10K.
It's the Bounce Back 150K payday. Visit islandluck.com for more info. Island Luck. Winners live here.
Introducing Valvoline Restore and Protect, a first-of-its-kind innovation that returns pistons to factory clean, removing up to 100% of deposits, restoring your engine to perform like new. All new Restore and Protect, another first by Valvoline, distributed by Battery & Tire Specialists.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
A religious body is convening its annual convention this week, drawing hundreds of delegates from across the country and abroad. Organizers say the gathering is centered on spiritual renewal, fellowship, and strengthening the church's mission at a time when many communities are facing social and economic challenges. Our Shaquille Dames has the highlights.
At the 77th General Convention of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World in the Bahamas, leaders say the church remains a steady source of hope and moral guidance in uncertain times. Deputy Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Chester Cooper, says,
"At home, we see people wondering what the future holds as the world feel these pressures and the times of unsettled. And in times like these, people need something that does not move, something eternal. And that is why the church matters. And that is why God is."
Leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard, says, beyond policy and programs, it is active, resilient faith that sustains families, strengthens communities, and carries the country through its most challenging moments.
That you understand that faith is absolutely necessary. The faith that prays in the quiet hours, the faith that prays when government efforts are not enough, when earthly treasures can't buy the results we desperately need. The faith that holds families together and mend those that are already torn apart. The faith that keeps communities steady and makes us feel certain even when our knees wish to buckle.
And while government leaders highlighted the church's role in national life, spiritual leaders turned the focus heavenward, reminding attendees of the greatness and sovereignty of God.
Because God cannot be defined, described, or explained. Why? Because He is God. Somebody missed that. You'll get that a little later. Give me a few more minutes. I'm just talking. Because of our humanity, our imagination of who God is limited to our general core belief. It's limited to our life experiences. It's limited to our exposure to biblical truth. Bishop Smith, our cognitive abilities can never comprehend the true realities of God.
Organizers say the gathering serves as both a spiritual revival and an economic boost, leaving a message of hope, unity, and unwavering faith.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Shaquille Dames.
Well, only the lonely over in our Studio A, but that certainly doesn't mean that Marlena won't give us our fill of what's coming up in Access Now.
Yes, because I'm all by myself, but I know he won't leave me long because any night he's not here, he's forfeiting our rock, paper, scissors match, so he will be back, if only for the title. Now, tonight we've got a lot of arts and culture happening. We're going to be doing the recap of BNT's Wine and Art Festival over the weekend and the upcoming Bahamian Music and Heritage Festival. Plus, our live guest tonight, you may have seen some of her wares in the store in Kelly's already. It's the culture wear line, so I can't wait to see the ceramics coming up later.
Well, as always, it's always a good time over in Access Now. Stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The National Report continues after this.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training advises the public that the registration process of the 2026-2027 school year for public school students has commenced. Parents are urged to register their children before the deadline of the 31st of March, 2026. Here's what you'll need: your child's proof of identity, immunization card, their most recent transcript or report card, parents or guardians' proof of identity. Register before the deadline to ensure a seamless transition into the new school year. Don't delay. Register today.
For more than 3 decades, the Bahamas Bridal Show has made dreams come true, all on a single day in a ballroom decorated wall to wall. Meet 14 wedding and home suppliers, giving away thousands of dollars in great prizes while you enjoy a fashion show, wedding demonstrations, food, and champagne sampling. Someone to Love comes to Bahamas Grand Hyatt, 2 p.m. Sunday, March 22nd. Purchase tickets for this spectacular wedding and event show at bahamasevents.net or call 421-9783.
I don't know, but what kind of cars is this parking lot? You ain't even know where to park? Yeah, that's no parking. Look at this way. Like, he ain't getting nowhere to go. Don't park him. Just don't park him. Don't park him. Yeah, that's how they get. No, you can't park him. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, right? Boy, what's going on, dog? I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way parking, bro. I tell you we shouldn't park here. Don't get one of these things. My bad, big bro. And he got a sticker inside. This ain't this mod, though. We gotta move. This is a handicap spot. That's what we gotta move. But we gotta move. Don't. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
That does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Advancing the tourism sector, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, led discussions for a meeting of major stakeholders in the cruise industry.
First, we must move closer towards a happy medium in creating balance in the sharing of taxation responsibility for all those participating in the economy. Fairness strengthens trust, trust strengthens partnership, and partnership strengthens performance. The Bahamas is more than a port of call. It is a culture, it's a cuisine, it is heritage, it is art, it is music, it is adventure, it is authenticity. And we must work together consistently to ensure that visitors' experiences are continuously enriched. Thirdly, we must encourage cruise passengers to spend more within the destination, not as an obligation, but because the value proposition compels them to do so. When local enterprises become economically viable, the local economy becomes stronger. And when the local economy is stronger, the destination becomes more resilient and more attractive for repeat business. Fourthly, we must provide clarity grounded in research on how we can encourage direct tourism enterprises to create attractions and adventures that invigorate the experiences. Fifth, we must tell our own story. And I have been in active engagement with cruise CEOs to partner to update an economic impact study that we will share publicly. We are committed to responsibly using government resources to make the changes and improvements necessary to sustain and elevate our tourism product. But we cannot do it alone. We need all of you, all of our stakeholders, and we consistently say tourism is indeed everyone's business.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
There is something powerful about women gathering in one room. That's exactly what this brunch is about. Last year, we brought together women from across the Bahamas to connect, to learn, and to be inspired. And this year, we're taking that energy even further. Join us on March 6th for BAF's 5th Annual International Women's Day Brunch at the Bar Mar Convention Center.
A Bahamian teacher making history in Atlanta and bringing home a very prestigious award. Those details straight ahead. Plus, Platinum Riders give back in a special way. Stay close for that. Also, the Bahamas National Trust Retreat on Village Road came alive for this year's Wine and Art Festival. And in sports, the Bahamas falls to Puerto Rico in the FIBA America qualifiers.
Tonight, Access Now starts now.
Good evening, I'm Marlena Leonard, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now. It's the start of a new week and a new month. We've got International Women's Day, St. Patrick's Day, and the official start of spring on the way this month. So here's hoping that as the days get longer, your life gets a little bit brighter too. And with that, let's dive right into news. Put a Bahamian anywhere in the world and you can be sure they're going to make history. This is certainly true for Dr. Candace Richardson, who was recently named Teacher of the Year for Gwinnett County, one of the largest school districts in the state of Georgia. Anthea Ferguson has the details on this prestigious win.
A 9th grade biology teacher from right here in Nassau, Bahamas, emerged victorious as the 2027 Gwinnett County Teacher of the Year. And the competition was stiff, too. The list of 142 Teachers of the Year was narrowed down to 27 and then slimmed to 6. And then the one. A vetting and selection process Dr. Candace Richardson says was rigorous and intense, but worth it in the end.
It's a very long process, but and it's one filled with, lots of excitement. There are lots of people coming into your room, lots of people observing what you're doing. There's someone that comes and spends the entire day in your classroom, videotaping everything that you do. So it's a very, that's not something that they come out and say, hey, we'll make you Teacher of the Year.
And if you think that's impressive, get this. Dr. Richardson's first career was in medicine. Working as a family medicine specialist, she took on a second job as a substitute teacher and landed a role at the Gwinnett Intervention Education Center East, an alternative school for challenged students.
When I got here, I really felt like God was saying to me, this is your purpose. This is where I want you to be. I loved it. I loved my students. the more challenging they were or they are, the more I love them. I just really enjoyed being here, and I enjoyed being able to pour into them.
And it's that passion, she says, that she thinks gave her the winning edge.
And my love for what I do really came through. It was just shining through, because I wake up every morning absolutely excited to come to school. I'm excited to be with my kids. I'm excited to help them to become better people.
Another thing Dr. Richardson is passionate about?
I'm a conch salad girl, but I like tropical salad, you know? Every time I go home, I have to get me some tropical salad. Got to get some cracked conch and cracked lobster.
And when this doctor-turned-superstar teacher reflects on all she's done in the classroom, she just has this one thing to say.
I just got to say, well, mother's sick. Look at me.
For the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now, I'm Anthea Ferguson.
Congratulations again to Dr. Richardson, and thanks, Anthea. Now, for the past 5 years, the Platinum Riders Association has been combining a love for motorcycles with a passion for service. Vice President Dwayne Haig says the nonprofit group is made up of professional, community-minded individuals who not only enjoy the thrill of riding, but are equally committed to giving back and supporting initiatives that uplift Bahamians.
Platinum Riders is an organization, a non-profit organization, with a group of professional individuals who enjoy the privilege to say we'll go ahead and ride, the enthusiasm of riding bikes, and we just go ahead and we conversate, we give back, and we do definitely go ahead and support any community and any initiative that would be able to say will uplift any Bahamian. And that's what Platinum Rider, that's what we do.
But beyond the bikes and brotherhood, Haig says the group also wants to clear up some common misconceptions often associated with motorcycle clubs. He explains how Platinum Riders sees itself and its place within the wider biker community.
Well, it's minimum. It's been minimum. We don't hardly get that because it's a group of individuals, settled individuals. So definitely you can't say, well, we are affiliated. But I would say this, we are bikers just like everybody else are bikers, all right? And definitely there are no gangs, there are groups, organizations that ride in Nassau, and we are just like them. We are a group of individuals who just enjoy motorcycles and riding.
Haig says at the end of the day, Platinum Riders is about fellowship, freedom, and philanthropy. With a shared respect for the road and the community, the association continues to prove that their mission goes far beyond the ride. Now, if you know where you were this weekend, it was all about art, wine, culture, and energy. The Bahamas National Trust retreat on Village Road came alive over the weekend for the 33rd Annual Wine and Art Festival. Our Desmond Saunders and cameraman Victor Adderley captured all the highlights.
Hundreds of patrons fill the Bahamas National Trust grounds, sampling more than 50 wines from around the world, indulging in endless culinary delights and supporting a vibrant lineup of Bahamian artists and artisans. From handcrafted pieces to bold murals, the creativity was unmistakable. The festival is usually held in October, but this year, event coordinator Kimberly Knowles noted that organizers made a strategic shift.
We are in a national park, and we do have to respect that we have to protect this space. With that being so much water and rain, the grounds were soaked, it would have turned to mud, and we would have destroyed part of the natural beauty that is this park by having that many people on this property.
And the move paid off. Patrons Aaron Bodie and Ty Barnaby described the vibe as unmatched, pure positive energy.
As a Bahamian, I think it's a good vibe. I think we could get together, have a good time. There's synergy in the house. No violence, no bad energy.
The food, the arts, the people, the live band, the after party, everything was exquisite. So props to BNT and props to Wine and Art Festival for excellent event this year.
From the stage Junkanoo Showcase to the colorful museum display and after party, there was no shortage of entertainment. Artists like Kareem Wilgream drew crowds with interactive pieces that had patrons fully engaged.
But the reception was fantastic, especially with the mural. Everybody said it was great. They had a fun time. This is something that I should continue to do because, hey, it's a great piece for people to get involved.
Luxury met storytelling at booths like Patricia Shatty's, blending straw, soy candles, and Caribbean identity into every product. 33 years strong and still evolving, Wine and Art Festival 2026 wasn't just an event. It was a celebration of Bahamian creativity, resilience, and community.
Still to come, an accountant turned ceramist and cultural advocate joins us live in studio to show off her latest collection. And Diane Dorset has your Access weather forecast. So stay close.
Career and Technical Education Unit of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training hosted its annual CTE Exhibition and Career Fair recently under the theme Empowering Our Workforce, Enriching Our Future. Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin toured the exhibition and highlighted the importance of the ministry's focus on career and technical education.
We are putting a premium on building skilled young people as they go into the economy. And as the director said, not as a second best thing, but as a preparedness for an economy that is shifting in a very massive way. And it's ensuring that our young people are prepared to meet the demands of a new economy and a new reality.
This sentiment was echoed by Director Dominique McCartney-Russell, who characterized academic and technical education as two sides of the same coin.
Academic learning gives our students the theories, the principles, and the vision to imagine new possibilities. Technical education gives them the hands, the tools, and the confidence to bring those possibilities to life. One without the other is incomplete.
The exhibition floor served as a showcase for technical mastery in many diverse fields, including plumbing and carpentry.
My experience was good. I learned that they get more options inside the real world. And my role was the plumbing work. I installed the toilets and I hook up the hose.
Johnny McIntosh, Portland.
Marlena Royston. It's a good Monday evening, the beginning of a brand new week, and it's time for your Access weather forecast. Your quick look at what's shaping our weather for the next few days. Our satellite picture shows clouds and showers associated with a cold front now exiting the southeast Bahamas, with clear skies moving in behind it. So while a few showers may still linger in the far southeast, most of the country is beginning to see improving conditions. Taking a look at your boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through Wednesday, winds will be easterly at 12 to 18 knots, seas at 3 to 6 feet. We'll experience high tides at 7:56 this evening, followed by another one at 7:34 in the morning. And for boaters in the central and southeast Bahamas, winds will be easterly at 15 to 25 knots, seas at 5 to 8 feet, with a small craft advisory in effect. It's time now for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Well, Gina Lurie has made a distinct mark as a ceramist, merging her creative talents with her love for Bahamian culture. Her culture line is crafted by hand and shaped by culture, specializing in handcrafted ceramics that celebrate the nation's cultural heritage. Welcome to the show, Gina.
Thank you.
Now, I know you had a background working in accounting, and now you're a fully fledged artist. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired that transition and what that transition was like for you?
What inspired the transition was actually seeing Bahamians and visitors alike grabbing hold of Junkanoo pieces and wanting to keep them and put them in their houses. And I thought, ooh, it would be so nice to be able to have a part of culture, but also make it practical
Yes, because I mean, if you can see the detail on these pieces in front of us, you can see all of these instruments, but also, like you said, making it practical. You get to interact with that culture every time you put something on your plate or drink something from your cup. Now, can you tell us a little bit about, this is your culture wear line, right? Cultural wear.
This is my culture wear line, yes.
So can you tell us about the inspiration and what goes into making these pieces?
Okay, so for culture wear by Gina Lurie, we have 3 streams of design. One is the islands of the Bahamas that we focus on, also Junkanoo, and we do the marine life of the Bahamas. So everything that we make is along those 3 lines. This particular design that we did, it's made from white porcelain, and we decided that we wanted to be in every home in the Bahamas. And what is a better way to go into the homes? And that is at the dinner table. We have to eat.
So what was the choice behind making them white? Is it just so you can make sure that we get the hints of culture without feeling like maybe that won't go with my existing set?
Right. So in 2007 was when I issued my first design. So I did it the first time, and I had greens and yellows, different colors, and everybody was like, oh no, this don't go. I want this color. I want this color. Right. So this time we decided that we wanted to go white, which we thought was elegant.
Yes, it is very.
And a little classy, and everybody can dress it up.
Right.
However they want.
You pick your table napkins. You can make it colorful.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for anyone, and there are lots of people in this country that are still working a professional desk job but have a more creative dream. What would your advice be for those people who are watching?
Follow your dream.
Do it.
Follow your, do it. Follow your dream, because I love it. I love it. When I first started, I didn't know anything about ceramics.
Right.
And then I just started to educate myself. And then, of course, YouTube, the University of YouTube, right? And I always knew in my mind exactly what I wanted. And so helping to do stuff behind the scenes helped me to produce or manifest what I saw in my mind.
Right. And like you said, YouTube University, it's free. You can learn anything online these days. Now, how can someone get their hands on something from this line? I know these pieces are available across multiple islands, but you also have a new partnership.
Yes. So actually, we have a partnership with Kelly's Home Center, and on the 28th of this month, we are going to launch the line, but it is available now at Kelly's in the bridal section of Kelly's, the bridal registry department, but you can also hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. It's Culture Wear by Gina Lurie, and so we look forward to our business partnership with Kelly's.
Oh, I can't wait for when I'll go to that one too, because I want some of these in my house, but I know we can get them now, so I'll definitely do that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I can't wait to get one of these in my own kitchen. And it's time now to turn things over to Total Sports to see what's on tap.
Bahamas falls to Puerto Rico in the final game of this window of FIBA qualifiers. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Follow the savings and head to Super Value and Quality Supermarkets for super specials like Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounces, $1.69. American Spice lemon or lime juice, 32 ounces, $1.69. Robin Hood flour, 5.5 pounds, $5.29. Yellow onions, 3-pound bag, $2.99. Baby back spare ribs, $2.99 per pound. From store to store, no one saves you more than Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Imagine putting $25 gas in your car, scanning the QR code, and winning a whole cruise and so much more. Well, that could be you with the New Year, New Things promotion happening right now at Rubis. From now until March 27, spend $25 or more in fuel and win one of our amazing prizes, such as $500 worth of Rubis gift cards, Fidelity prepaid Visa cards, BPL vouchers, a 3-night stay at the Margaritaville Hotel, a PS5, and we'll be sending a lucky person on a cruise. I can't wait to see what you win. It's New Year, New Things with Rubis. Don't forget, spend $25 or more, scan the QR code, fill out the form, upload your receipt, enter, and win. That's my boo. I ain't getting leave. I can see y'all on the cruise. Don't leave me, don't leave me.
We're BAF Financial.
We're BAF General and Health Insurance.
Welcome to the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Come on in to Cash and Go. Need technical support? We are BFG Services.
BAF Global. Global reach, local care.
At Costrite, our members know that there's a lot to smile about. They know that membership has its privileges. Guaranteed low pricing on every item, every time you shop. Each membership comes with 2 cards. That's one for you and a free card for a member of your household. Gold card holders earn an annual 2% rebate up to $500. Costrite members get discounts at other participating businesses. So that's a lot to smile about. Whether it be clothing, appliances, home goods, or groceries, shop at Costrite, where membership truly has its privileges.
Welcome to your Monday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. The Bahamas men's national basketball team splitting a pair of games in the latest window of the FIBA 2027 World Cup qualifiers. After a close, nail-biting win against Jamaica on Thursday, the team would travel to San Juan, Puerto Rico to face the host country. And with pro and former NBA player Kai Jones added to the mix, the 2-4-2 was hoping to finish this window unblemished. However, that would not be the case. Despite a valiant effort from the group, the Bahamas would fall to PR 71-66 on Sunday. Kai Jones and Franco Miller Jr. had 19 points apiece to lead Team Bahamas. Jones shot 8 for 11 from the field. He added 9 rebounds, an assist, and a steal as well. Bahamas is still in a good position to move on with home games against Jamaica and Puerto Rico in July. Now, for Puerto Rico, they got their first win of the qualifiers. And overall, both teams have a 1-3 win-loss record in Group B standings. Canada leads the group, remaining undefeated at 4-0, and Jamaica is in second at 2-2. The top 3 teams move on to the second round of qualifiers later this year.
As a team, we were just trying to really find our rhythm. We don't think we started off the game as well as we could have. We started to get it going in like the last 5 minutes of the game. And, you know, we just want to carry over good basketball into the next window and, you know, see where it takes us from there.
Hats off to Puerto Rico. We know this would be a tough game, having been down for the past 3 games, so we knew we were coming into a dogfight, especially here. But like Franco said, we executed. We got some good shots, they just didn't fall. And so down the stretch, we started to get it right. And it was just a little bit too late.
Over in the association, continuing his stellar post-All-Star break play, Bayman rookie phenom B.J. Edgecombe and his Philadelphia 76ers took on the Boston Celtics on Sunday. Edgecombe posting 23 points along with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals in 40 minutes. But Philly coming up on the losing end, dropping to the Celtics 114-98. Edgecombe has scored at least 20 points in 4 of his 6 appearances since the All-Star break, while shooting 47% from the floor. But VJ's play not necessarily the story in this one. With the Sixers trailing by 6 in the 4th, Edgecombe would try to show off some hustle. Unfortunately, he stepped out of bounds and then went flying into the crowd. As he came down, his sneaker hit a fan in the side of the head. The fan was left with visible damage next to her right eye. VJ would apologize and give her a hug. Hopefully, no love was lost. The Greens, over 500 junior golfers putting their talents on display at the 2026 Bahamas National Golf Championships that got underway this morning at the Sports Center Golf Academy and 9-hole par 3 golf course. The week-long golf competition will feature students from both the primary and high school divisions. Public primary schools will enter the fold on Tuesday, and the top 5 schools from the private and public primary divisions will battle for bragging rights on Wednesday.
So today we kick off our inter-school golf championships. This is the 6th year for our school championships, and it's an opportunity for all the schools throughout the Bahamas to demonstrate what they have been practicing throughout the year in terms of golf.
The Diamond, a 3-run 5th inning was key in helping the Penn State Nittany Lions get past the Indiana State University Sycamores 9-8 on Sunday in extra innings. Game 3 of the inaugural Atlantis Collegiate Baseball Series held at the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium. The game was tied at 8 apiece after a scoreless 10th inning by both teams, and a walk-off hit propelled the Nittany Lions to the win. But it would be the Sycamores who would clinch the series 2-1. The most valuable player honor went to the Sycamores' Caden Miller. The first baseman went 2 for 6 and picked up 2 RBIs throughout the series. The event, of course, the brainchild of BD Global Sports, which has spearheaded several major sporting events in the Bahamas, including Baha Mar Hoops, ESPN Fantasy Football Weekend, and recently the Corn Ferry Classic in New Providence and Abaco. And finally, in tennis news from over the weekend, the John McEnroe Tennis Center hosted its inaugural Women's Double Classic, aptly named Advantage Her, with more than 25 participants in attendance. The ladies enjoying an engaging and competitive afternoon of tennis. The event began with a dynamic doubles clinic led by Director of Rackets Deron Donaldson, alongside former national standout Fed Cup representative and former WTA-ranked player Nikita Fountain, as well as former national player Jody Turnquest. Participants received valuable instruction focused on double strategy, court positioning, and match play tactics. Following the clinic, players completed a spirited round-robin doubles tournament with 8 prizes awarded. Dietrich Delancey and Malika Thompson emerged as overall champions. And that's been a look at your sports on this Monday. I'm Amajal Knowles, signing out until tomorrow.
At We Buy and Sell, we help you upgrade your home the smart way, from solar panels and solar lights to strong doors, storm-ready windows, tiles, mirrors, vanities, faucets, and more. Everything you need is right here under one roof. Great quality products, great price, and fast, friendly service every day. Visit us on Robinson Road or send us a message on WhatsApp 242-636-8412 or shop anytime at wbusbahamas.com. We Buy and Sell. Upgrade your home today.
Some burgers are simple. The Barbecue Crispy King, this one goes all in. Smoky barbecue sauce, crispy bacon, flame grilled beef, stacked high flavor in every bite. In Nassau, we don't do small, and we definitely don't do boring. And when morning hits, the Breakfast Barbecue Crispy King has that bam to start the day. Burger King Nassau, triple down on big flavor.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, Shop Smart, at Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
Isn't that nice? Wait, you missed it? Ah, you haven't been on the website. Here's how TDC can help you. Whether you're turning your home into a vacation rental, pitching a business idea, or growing what you've already started, the TDC is here to help. Visit tdcbahamas.com for every conversation, event, grant, and opportunity happening near you. Tourism is all of our business, and the TDC is here to support yours.
Our live look tonight is this bird's eye shot along Shirley Street just outside of Auto Mall. And let's hop over now to Exuma. Let's go. The Ministry Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation announcing the 20th Annual Bahamian Music and Heritage Festival. The two-day festival, scheduled for March 13th and 14th, will take place in Georgetown, Exuma, under the theme Celebrating Our Past, Embracing Our Future. Officials say this year's festival marks 2 decades of honoring the vibrant culture, music, and traditions of the Bahamas, offering an immersive experience that highlights the spirit of Bahamian heritage. The Bahamian Music and Heritage Festival features a mixture of cultural activities, educational sessions, and concerts, making it a must-attend event for locals and tourists alike. And it's now time for Let's Talk Socials with Matea Stewart.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Socials. Okay, we are officially in election season here in the 242. The rallies are louder, the motorcades are longer, and online, it's getting a little strange because this year, there's a new candidate in the mix. Artificial intelligence. AI can help draft press releases, write speeches, create social captions, even design graphics in seconds. But here's where it gets sticky. AI is also being used for identity tarnishing. Be very careful with those leaked WhatsApp voice notes. AI can clone someone's voice almost perfectly now. So if you hear someone that sounds scandalous, but the energy feels off, the tone's weird, it might not even be them. It could literally be a computer. And this isn't just theory. Courts around the world have already dealt with AI-generated fake documents, fake news articles, even fake legal cases designed to damage reputations before people even step into the voting booth. So how do we protect ourselves and our vote? I call it the SOS method. Before you hit share, S, source check. Is this coming from a credible house like ZNS? Or is it just a random forward in your family and friends WhatsApp group? Please, let's be serious. Oh, oddities. Look closely. Are the earrings glitching? Does the hair look like a blurry helmet? Does the background look like some generic tropical island instead of an actual street in Nassau, Freeport, or any family island? AI slips up in the details. S, sentiment. If the post is making you instantly angry, that's a red flag. AI propaganda is built to trigger emotion. If it feels like rage bait, pause, breathe, think. I'm Matea Stewart, and this has been LTS.
Now, before we leave, we want to invite you to send us your pics and videos. Yes, the funny pet pics, your underdog stories, and your wins, even your oops moments. We want to see them. Email us at btaccessnow@gmail.com. That's btaccessnow@gmail.com. And you might see yourself on Access Now. I personally can't wait to see what you send in. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stick around for the rundown with Howard Grant. Good night, everybody.
When I first introduced the program to them, some of them was reluctant at first that I don't know about agriculture, I don't know anything about farming.
The young man mentioned trauma that they experienced, that they saw the gardening as an escape.
So we need to ensure that our young men are exposed to initiatives that could improve their skills.
That's Taking Social Services to the People, Monday at 9:30 p.m. on ZNS Television.
Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver, which is the organ responsible for filtering toxins from the body, producing bile for digestion, and producing proteins and clotting factors. The most important cause of hepatitis worldwide is viruses, of which there are 5 main types: A, B, C, D, and E. Hepatitis B and C are major health challenges globally, affecting over 300 million persons worldwide. The suspicion of hepatitis may be a challenge, as there are typically no symptoms. However, if infected, non-specific symptoms may include decreased appetite, nausea, vague abdominal discomfort, jaundice or yellow eyes, and abnormal liver function tests. If not treated, hepatitis of any type can lead to cirrhosis and liver cancer, which leads to over 1 million deaths worldwide. If you suspect you may have been exposed to the virus that causes hepatitis, talk to your doctor today and get tested.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Tune in to a special broadcast of the Caribbean Development Bank's 2026 Annual News Conference on ZNS Bahamas, Tuesday, March 3rd at 4:30 p.m. EST. Hear directly from the bank's leadership as they outline priority actions to boost resilience, growth, and sustainable development for all Caribbean people. Be sure to join us.
Let's swim Bahamas, bring water hazards to an end.
Let's swim Bahamas. Water safety rule number 9. Do not dive into unknown waters.
Let's swim Bahamas, bring water hazards to an end. Water hazards to an end.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought it was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
Good evening. I'm Howard Grant, and welcome to The Rundown, aired live on ZNS Television Network. And I want to say good evening again. Tonight, we're stepping into a conversation that is no longer distant, no longer abstract, no longer just foreign policy. What's happening between Iran, Israel, and the United States is not just about missiles, retaliation, or alliances. It's about oil. It's about shipping routes. It's about, and ultimately, it's about your pockets. Roughly 20% of the world's oil flow through the Straits of Hormuz. And when that region becomes unstable, markets respond immediately. Oil prices, Brent and WTI, begin to climb. Not necessarily because the supply is stopped, but because of fear entering into the disruption enters into that particular system. And when the oil rises, everything follows. Fuel prices rise, shipping insurance rises, freight costs rise, groceries rise, electricity becomes vulnerable, airfare becomes vulnerable, tourism confidence becomes vulnerable. Now, if this cools within 30 days, we may see a short-term spike. But if this drags on into summer, if insurance premiums stay elevated, if shipping routes remain tense, then what are we looking at is compound cost pressure. And in a country like ours, heavily dependent on imports, that becomes a political question as much as an economic one. What is the government's contingency plan? How quickly are they communicating? Is there a consumer protection strategy? Are we prepared for the sustained fueled pressure? Or are we hoping to subside it becomes a domestic issue? Tonight, we're not just speculating for the sake of drama. We are examining the possible fallout, immediate and long-term, as to what leadership requires in moments like these. Garth Roseborough joins me this evening as we're going to look at this through a political lens. Because when global conflict hits oil, it eventually hits home. Let's talk about it this evening. You're watching The Rundown on ZNS Television Network. Our conversation starts right after this.
Behind every strong economy is a bold entrepreneur.
and we're here to support them, island by island. Only Lutheran, we've helped 122 entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Through over $3 million in approved funding, the SBDC is strengthening Eleuthero's economy by investing in its leading sectors: tourism, food and beverage, and agriculture. No matter the island, every business we support strengthens the economy, starting with yours. SBDC, Bahamas.
Our marine resources were once considered inexhaustible. Conch and reef fish like grouper were abundant everywhere, and it seemed as if the lobster catch would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone, now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back. This is The Rundown. I am Howard Grant, and this is ZNS. Grateful to have you in our company. We continue to be able to talk about things that are making topical news, things that are really being able to make the news rounds around the country, around the world. And what we've been seeing since Saturday is significant bombs being able to land in Iran. This sort of a concept, an idea that we're looking worlds away into our telephones and trying to be able to make a determination as to whether or not this will affect us. I don't think we've actually really thought about it until we heard the President of the United States of America being able to take on this kind of a position that indicate that there are some troops that fast away, but these type of things happen. And if it actually continues to be able to spread on, we want to be able to thank those troops, in a sense, for being able to give the ultimate sacrifice. We got to think about this long term. We got to be able to understand the position that we're having and understand the direction that these particular things are taking. Tonight, joining me in this kind of a conversation to look at it not only from a geopolitical standpoint, but from locally looking at it from a political standpoint and making a determination as to whether or not there is preparation on all ends for what can happen going forward. Garth Roseborough joins me as we continue to have this conversation. My brother, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
It's a pleasure to be here again tonight, Howard Grant.
Absolutely.
It's a rough start to a week for me here, but war.
On Monday?
Yeah, you look for peace on Monday, but war is kind of rough.
Well, Mondays is the day.
You think Monday's the day for war?
Statistically, the majority of those particular persons who pass away do so on a Monday. Statistically, you could be able to identify that. And so this sort of an introduction not only to Monday, but to the Ides of March. This is the beginning of the month.
I did mention that to someone this morning. Don't forget the Ides of March. Beware.
This is the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing the sort of the wrap up of the third quarter, the first quarter, the wrap up of the first quarter end with this sort of a prospect and position that is happening a world away, but can affect us right here locally. Now, one of the things that I've said, and a conversation that I'd like to have with you, is what implication do you believe that this would push this administration to make a decision to ensure that fear and the sort of an anxiety associated with the potential of what can happen in a war? Because, hey, listen, I'm old enough to remember the Gulf War. I'm old enough to remember the sort of an indifference that happened during this time. I'm old enough to remember when gas was 99 cents a gallon and that thing shot right up. I'm old, yeah, because I used to cut the grass. I used to get a gallon, $1. My granddaddy gave me $1 and that thing full. And so these things calculate in my mind, but right after that, everything shifted. And so I'm asking you, what do you think, what kind of pressure you believe that this is going to place, whether that is traditional, whether that is from an economic standpoint, and the governments have to make these sort of evaluations of what they have to do. What are your thoughts associated with that?
Well, the first thing I recognized when I woke up this morning was a warning went out to the region, mostly touristic nations, nations like Haiti, Jamaica, Costa Rica. The Bahamas was included in that. And the warning was given that during this particular time, Americans should be wary and be very concerned in terms of travel, knowing that we are a touristic destination, that is our #1 industry. If those people were to pay heed to that warning, feeling somewhat insecure, that is definitely going to have a bad reflection on the Bahamas. I'll tell you why. We all know historically, January is a very slow month for tourism in the Bahamas. February, we are just catching our wind in February, going into March, and of course spring break. April, we have all of the homecoming events coming up very shortly. This is the season for that. This is the season to make money.
It should start picking up all the way through to summer.
This is actually the time when the big money people actually travel. Big money travels to the Bahamas this time of year. And so if we are to miss this window due to caution, then this could be a very, very tough year for the Bahamas.
But this is not unfamiliar. It's not necessarily unfamiliar. We understood this in 2008. We understood this in right after 2001 with 9/11, and President Bush during that particular time had everyone on alert, whether it was an Amber Alert, whatever these particular alerts were. And so Americans were on edge, and then it took us right into the hurricane. The truth of the matter is that we almost had a decade of tribulation from 2001 all the way down to 2011 until we saw that particular change. But the truth is as we look at this, you hit a very good point. Touristically, this is an economic warfare that even though we don't have missiles dropping on us, the truth is that if there is a pronouncement that goes out to the world indicating beware, not necessarily that there is caution within this particular region, but just beware of travel point blank, that's going to affect us and our bottom line. The Ministry of Tourism boasts about this sort of an idea of being able to see millions and millions of increased persons being able to come to our shores. Do you think that this could be one of those things that actually causes sort of a dent in that?
It's a wait and see. The one thing that I've never truly appreciated as a Bahamian is our response to whenever America says that we are a violent nation. It almost seems as if we lay down and allow that to just be pronounced throughout the entire United States, as if the #1 place of New Orleans doesn't have violence, as if Miami, Florida doesn't have violence, as if New York City doesn't have violence, as if Los Angeles doesn't have violence. All of a sudden, we are a violent country.
You forget Chicago, so this is crazy.
Well, Chicago
and Detroit.
is close to my parents' home. I want to leave them out of that. Relatively safe. There may be little pockets of violence here and there, but for the most part, publicly, let's just say this. This is not a war-torn country. We are under no immediate threat from any war. We don't get involved in anything in such geopolitically. But this I will say to you tonight, amazingly, I had a premonition, and I was kind of hoping that there would have been a snap election February 26, 2026. That was just my thing that I pronounced in another space. Now, when I thought that and I said that on the air, Mia Motley mentioned something like February 11th or somewhere thereabout, and then all of a sudden they were going into an election. She doesn't have to worry about this war affecting her politics.
Neither does or did Andrew Holdings.
Okay.
He didn't have to worry about this.
Jamaica's clear.
Yeah.
Who was left with the bag? The Bahamas.
100%.
So
even St. Kitts and Nevis and the Nevis, they didn't have to worry about this.
You don't have to worry about this.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now, this could possibly, I didn't say it will, but this could possibly affect your politics.
Listen, that's why I get him to talk with me tonight. Let me tell you why. Because as I deduced this and being able to identify this, I recognize with the pronouncements that the Prime Minister had come out and being able to talk about this and the precaution that needs to be taken and understanding the pressures associated with wars and war in general, understanding the dependency that we have on imports from a global standpoint, understanding the fact that we are import heavy in this country. the government of the Bahamas will have to make a decision if this thing goes beyond the next 5 days. That's just point blank. If it goes the next one more week of tribulation, as we go through our TikToks, as we go through MSNBC, CNN, and all these particular other networks that we're looking at from an external standpoint to make a determination, as our local news networks, ZNS and others, continue to articulate what's happening and try to be able to deduce that and look at it, the contrast of what's happening from a global standpoint and bring it home to you to make you to understand locally. Our government will have to make a decision as to whether or not they're willing to weather the storm of potential tribulation or go to a quick general election. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, and that's exactly where we find ourselves. We're going to have to make some very hard and difficult decisions. And of course,
this is a difficult decision.
Anyone who takes this lightly would not truly understand as to why it may have to happen that way. This is not just a regular election. As a matter of fact, as I was driving here tonight, I consider that this has to be the deadest election I've ever witnessed in my lifetime. That's why I'm wearing black tonight. This is in honor of
Sir, I wear black because it's Monday.
No, this election is just so humdrum. It's unbelievable. There's no luster to it whatsoever. It's just like a formality.
We need to stop associating elections with excitement and this sort of an idea of parties.
Well, listen, we would have had a party.
This should be a somber period.
Listen,
because somebody going home in a proverbial political box.
Normally we would celebrate that, but right now the war is now going on in Israel. Everything is just flat to me. It's just flat. Even the response to the war is flat. Here's Israel. We say we're a Christian nation. We believe that the Messiah was the God of Israel, the God of Isaac and Jacob and all the rest of that good talk. We believe these things. Now we see Israel once again in war with Iran. And they're still fighting daily in Palestine. I mean, it's just an ongoing thing where that part of our faith is at war. The Bahamian people, we're more docile, more laid back. We're a war people. And so to understand the mechanics of what it means to go to war over principle, I think that is just beyond us. Right now, as we sit here in the Bahamas, this has to affect some people's faith because you're an Israel supporter. You believe God is in Israel. You believe that. You believe that. And so therefore, that's your faith involved in this. Your economics is going to be involved in this. And very shortly, like you just said, the cost of living is just going to show the proof in the pudding.
Well, this is what I want to say. I mean, when we start to identify these things, if you haven't really been able to count the cost of these particular things, and I started to talk about this today. I think you and I started this conversation, and another space I was actually being able to deduce this. The truth is that there isn't a great in-depth of thinking. There is this sort of a superficial concept and idea that exists with the masses.
That's it.
And so if the masses feel, that's all this is. All it takes is a feeling. It doesn't have to be deduced with science. It doesn't matter who articulates what's happening from an external standpoint. What happens is that translucent target that exists on every back of a politician becomes emboldened on the PLP. That's all it is.
That's what's going to happen.
That's all. That translucent target that was fading, that said, okay, well, he ain't as bad as the other ones, and this leadership is good, and so forth and so on. It becomes emboldened because of the tribulation at the pump. Because when you go to pay your electricity bill, that's going to skyrocket. Because despite all that the Progressive Liberal Party has done to ensure that they can be able to have some of the social aspect that persons could be able to access food and all that they would have done, this is going to increase exponentially. That everything that's happening when you go to your local grocery stores with the price app and everything, trying to be able to ensure that you can find yourself in a better position, this is going to increase because of nothing more, if nothing more, fear has entered the pipeline. We need to have this kind of a conversation. We need to talk with clarity. Because if you're not prepared for when you hit, you want to go across the street to Fort Lauderdale, you want to go to West Palm, you want to jump on the boat if you're in Grand Bahama under Valeria and be able to get over there, you want to be able to enjoy these particular things. You've already had your tussle associated with whether or not you're going to get your visa and all these particular things. We've gone beyond that now. Now you're going to look at the price of tickets if they're going to increase. This is too much of a weight to bear on a political organization just before a general election.
That's what I'm saying.
Before we get to the general election, I believe there must be consideration as to whether or not we're going to wait to see how this plays out, or if we're going to a quick
it's going to be interesting to see how the world opposition places this conversation.
See, this is heavier what you're doing right now. I want to talk about this. It's heavy.
That's what we're going to expect. Someone got to take the blame for this. And we're not even involved in the war itself. But the war is coming to us in ways that you cannot imagine. And I like where you hit the whole idea of travel at the pump. And the one thing that is missing in all of this, Howard Grant, and I listen to people's remarks, I listen to their complaints on a continuous basis, we always feel the government has this overabundance of revenue available for spending. We always do. We say, oh, they're traveling too much. Oh, look at the type of cars they're driving. Look at what they're wearing. Look at what they're eating. Look at their meals. But the truth be told is this. Money has a limit in the Bahamas. And money has a limit, and the cost of gas is going up. We got all of these government vehicles, they run on fuel. We have our corporations, they run on fuel. We have our airline, it runs on fuel. When the cost goes up, people just expect the government to say, you know what, reduce the price. Give the people a break.
That's difficult.
And
that's
that's almost impossible.
That's almost impossible.
But if you want to win the election, this is the time when you know the big squeeze takes place.
Our Prime Minister has spoken about the necessity for being able to identify, and I surmise what he says, about being able to identify whatever is necessary to be able to reduce the potential cost of living, whatever is necessary we're going to have to be able to do to be able to affect these particular things. But I think one of the things that will be necessary is a quick general election, because the truth of the matter is this, and I don't get in your business. I'm simply, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not one of the advisors. I'm simply saying, as I look at this, why would you give the opposition any proverbial room, any fuel, pun intended, any fuel to light this particular conversation?
This is why I said...
This is fuel, you know.
This is what I said. I said I felt like...
The opposition doesn't need to say that, okay, let's do this. This is the exact same fuel that lit a fire under the Progressive Liberal Party that causes former Prime Minister Minnis to be ousted. It was the fuel of global pandemic. It was the fuel of tribulation that was happening from an external standpoint that affected us locally. The language of persons said that Minnis had us locked down. Did Minnis really have us locked down? I mean, really? It wasn't his fault. It was a global issue associated with being able to ensure that we could be able to reduce the rate, we could reduce the amount of persons that had to go to the hospital, we could reduce these particular things, and as a result of that, the only thing that we saw was that translucent target on the back of our politicians becoming bolded, and we knew a Minnis had to go. Why would you wait for that to come in the event that this thing stretches out? We got to deal with this. Talk to me. How am I talking?
You're talking really good. And like I said to you before, that's why I figured I just had this hunch. I mean, I'm no prophet, but I just had this hunch. So now here you are, your back is going to be up against the wall because the average Bahamian doesn't take the full responsibility for the cost of their electrical bill each month. They're the ones who are burning the air condition, even though it's 60 degrees. They wouldn't cut it off, but they want to blame somebody for that bill. They wouldn't park their car. They got the car running up and down day and night, but as far as they're concerned, the fuel is too high, and they're complaining. They're complaining about import taxes, they're complaining about VAT, they're complaining about everything, but no one is complaining about the fact that they've not learned how to manage themselves. America at this time is learning how to manage themselves. Israel at this time is learning how to manage themselves. Iran right now is learning how to manage itself. We have to learn to manage ourselves.
But you know what's crazy is that they're all from an external standpoint, whether you call it America, Israel, Iran, and other spaces, they're learning how to manage themselves by force. the circumstances from an external standpoint has placed them in a position that they must learn how to be able to conduct themselves for the purposes of survival.
That's correct.
And if they don't do it as individuals, if they don't teach this within their own spheres and spaces, you're watching leadership take on a very strong position to say that, hey, listen, I understand that this is going to be difficult, but this is a necessary evil to ensure that we can have survival in due time and due season. We're going to have these kind of conversations with you. When we get back, we can talk just a little bit more about the potential of what this fuel could mean for the royal opposition. This is The Rundown. Guys, going to be right back after this.
Back at Little Caesars and good. Our popular Chicago-style pizza is back for a limited time only. Enjoy this delicious, thick, buttery crust pizza that's packed with layers of cheese, meats, and veggies for just $18. That inclusive. Now available at all 5 of our locations. Little Caesars, Oaksville, Carmichael Road, East Street, Pineapple Plaza, Charles Saunders Highway, and 1 East Plaza.
Pizza. My name is Omar Ferguson. I've been disabled now from 2009. What inspired me to start my own business? It was the determination to know that I still had something left in me, even though a lot of my independence, my mobility was being restricted. In my disability, it's kind of hard finding the investors or the capital. For example, national insurance. The benefit that we receive, it's a lifeline. And in any business that you're going to take, it's going to be a risk. We're not looking for handouts, but we want you to understand that we still need a little special care. This literally gives us a backbone that, hey, we could actually stand someday. This is the business I know it's going to be a risk. Even going through that process, I'm still dependent on national insurance. Overall, being in the program itself, it's put me in a place where I feel young again. I feel like anything is possible. I would say to others with disabilities, look around your community, just like you guys said in one of the modules. See what is needed in your community and go for it. Don't be afraid, just go for it.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
The Cabinet Office wishes to advise the general public that daylight savings time will commence on Sunday, the 8th of March at 2 a.m. and will continue until 2 a.m. on Sunday, the 1st of November, 2026.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, The Rundown with Howard Grant right here on ZNS Bahamas. Grateful to be in your company here talking with Garth Roseborough about the potential political sort of backlash and layout of what our expectation can be in the event that we see a prolonged position as it relates to what we're seeing right now. All of your TikToks, all of your social media, all of your news from Iran and Israel and United States of America, being able to identify those things. Hey, listen, this is not an easy conversation to have. And especially in sort of a heightened geopolitical state that we're in from a global standpoint, we want to be able to walk over proverbial eggshells to ensure that we're not necessarily ruffling any feathers or being able to say the wrong thing. But it's important for us to be able to have an introspection and to understand what's happening from an internal standpoint. I want talk like this. As we identify these particular things, as we make a determination as what we're seeing from an external standpoint, if you are saying, and persons continue to say, that if America sneezes and the Bahamas catch the cold, well, America blowing up people. And so what does that mean for our country? Do we now take shelter? Do we now give consideration to these particular things? Are there proverbial bunkers set in place that we could be able to ensure that ourselves, our families, and generations thereof could be able to be taken care of despite what's happening around the next side of the world? I'm here with Garth Roseborough, being able to have this kind of a conversation, and I want you to be able to join me. Now, when we left off here, I wanted to talk about this. Is this potential fuel for the Free National Movement? Talk to me.
Of course it is, because the prices are going to be affected and someone has to take the blame. The government doesn't want to take the blame. The royal opposition is going to place the blame.
You would be explaining yourself tired.
All the third-party people, they're going to find. I mean, look, right now they tell you they find in aragonite, they find in, what's it called this thing again now? Granite. They find all these different natural resources and they complaining. They ain't talking about the oil yet, though. We ain't get to the oil yet. These people over in Iran and Israel, they fighting over oil. We still talk about aragonite.
Venezuela, oil.
Yeah.
Iran,
oil.
Oil.
But we talking aragonite.
All right. No, but we're talking natural resources and being able to identify those things. But the truth of the matter is that when we start to talk about this, and I always bring this back, and this may be sort of a sore point and a difficult thing for persons to hear, but the truth is that we're coming to understand with every progressive day what the Make America Great Again concept was all about. This sort of unraveling, that's sort of an enveloping and blossoming into the terror that we've identified from both a local standpoint and a global standpoint. And I don't mean terror as in being able to kind of to shake us out of our boots, is the comforts that we've been used to and recognizing we're being shaked out of those particular comforts, right? Because the tariffs was a difficult thing for us to kind of swallow. When we've identified what was happening with the visas and being able to make our determination whether or not our comforts of traveling to the United States of America was being threatened. And now in this kind of a position where we make a determination of being able to look at what's happening a world away, we're now trying to make a determination as to whether or not this is going to affect us in our pockets locally. And the PLP, in their particular capacity as the government of the Bahamas, must take this into consideration. Whilst we understand that there is this traditional concept and idea of being able to separate your party from your government, political organizations must win to ensure that they can be able to lead the country in the direction that they have a vision, a passion, this particular determination. And they cannot win if they allow the narrative to be hijacked by an external entity, because it happened to them.
Well, it's good that we have an ambassador now in the Bahamas from the United States of America. I do believe the government will have to absorb any increased cost immediately unless election comes sooner than it does come.
Now we talking.
So this is where the question
I would not give the opposition time to articulate the idea that, my God, look at the prices at the pump rising, the PLP got to go. I wouldn't even give them time. That's just me, it's just me, it's just me.
I wasn't giving them no time.
I wasn't giving them no time. It's just Howard. Rain Lent over? All right, right after Lent, we can deal with this, right? This is just Howard. You understand? As we look at this from a political standpoint, and we make this particular determination, the Progressive Liberal Party has made significant inroads from a global standpoint. Talk to me from a national standpoint. Talk to me, Garth.
I'm listening.
From a national standpoint. 5% reduction on
all
food
of that
items.
hardy, but I'm asking you again.
Excellent.
You said right after Lent.
Feeding up the children. Excellent. What else the Progressive Liberal Party has done in terms of being able to build the infrastructure that persons can be taken care of? Excellent. Identifying and strengthening entrepreneurial things? Excellent. You can't let these things go to naught for being able to capture a narrative to say, look at the prices of these particular things in your pocket right now. Look at the reduction of persons traveling to the country. Look at all these particular things. They have not hit their marks.
Oh, yeah. You can get blamed for that.
We got to be able to fix that.
And so if you were, let me just put you in the hot chair tonight, if you were the Prime Minister, if you were responsible for calling a date for the next general election, you tell me when you would call the election.
Right after Lent.
When does Lent end?
I think April 5th.
Thereabout?
Yeah.
So when would you call the election?
The Friday after Lent. So if Lent on the 5th, and the 5th I think is a Tuesday, right? We go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think that's going to be the 8th.
But you don't even give Jesus no time to send. You got to give him some time to send, man.
Jesus, they watch him going in the clouds and they didn't see him no more. He can be all right. Jesus is fine. Praise God. We need to take care. I mean, it's just, that's what it is.
You do it on the 11th? Something
I would do it. I wouldn't wait till the weekend.
Okay, so tell me then. Watching the election right now, the way we're seeing things on the ground presently, during Lent.
Let me say this,
that's feasible?
Let me say this to you, though. Let me say this to you. This is Howard's position in the event that over the next 7 days, war continues.
Okay.
Okay? Over the next 7 days, today is March 2nd, 2026.
Okay.
In the event that March 9th, 2026, we're having this same conversation, there is no question you're going to have to make a determination, because even if it subsides by the end of March, the truth is that we're still going to have to fall out all the way until June. We're going to have a fallout. We're going to have increases. We're going to have these particular things. The supply chain is going to be troubled. They're going to have all these issues that are going to lead all the way up to your next budget cycle, which is
gas prices normally go around that time anyhow.
It's going to be significantly increased, right? And so you're going to have to consider the things that you've actually committed. If I was, this is just me.
This is your disclaimer.
This is my disclaimer. I'm not saying that this should happen or should not happen. I'm saying to you, with my naive posture, nature, exposure, and understanding, if I was, I know that there will be casualties. I know that some persons are not prepared, but I will willing to take that chance on both political stands. If the FNM was in power, I would also take this particular, take a quick sprint to general election.
Doesn't matter who
It doesn't matter. This is, I cannot allow all that I've done to be undone with a political narrative and social media continuing to perpetuate in vulnerable, impressionable minds in this country, voter minds who've become susceptible of being able to ingest garbage on social media, garbage on your screen, and preach that, regurgitate that as though it's gospel. I can't allow that to happen.
So
with what I done,
so is that,
with everything that I know, boy, we got the white baby, we got the, hey, listen, if you ain't ready, steady, go. That's it.
Okay, so let me be the devil's advocate now. Is that possibly what happened to Dr. Hubert Alexander?
That's exactly what happened to Dr. Minnis. Beyond Dr. Minnis becoming what perceived to be pressured by not only House and Mootry, let's just be clear.
Speak of the
by not only House and Mootry, the Speaker of the House, by not only the extenuating circumstances that existed externally, by not only the concept and idea that has already been perpetuated that Minnis had us locked down. Oh my God, look what he did to the Coconut Boys. Oh my.
So the conversations had started.
Listen.
All the social media conversations
the
had started.
The former Prime Minister of the country could explain himself to pieces and articulate right down to the last dot with clarity and make us to understand why this was in his fault. And somewhere in our subconscious, we agree with him. Yeah, we understand, you know, but you had to go because we was locked down. Somebody had to get this. Somebody got to deal with this.
And this is a similar situation.
And this is a similar situation.
Somebody got to get blamed for oil prices going up. Someone got to get blamed for higher electrical costs.
But because we've seen this, and let's be very clear. In 1992, this happened also, okay? 1992 was a global shift, a shift into a progressive future. And the language that the Free National Movement had during that time, this sort of a government in the sunshine, a time of transparency, access, opportunity, trust, is what actually gave them that proverbial wave that placed them into position of leadership. And Hubert Ingram, in this particular capacity, fortified that come 1997 and said, hey, listen, this is a matter of trust now. And we find ourselves back in this particular position. You trust me, I've done what I said I would do, give me another chance. And that's what had happened. And the PLP came in 2002 and gave us, I think it was a fresh win, right? That sort of a fresh win, this sort of an exuberating concept and idea that entered into the consciousness of the Bahamian people gave them a second opportunity. You cannot allow the things that you've been building on. You've seen this happen before. If it happened in 1992, if it happened in 2021, it can happen again, because we've seen these things before. And if we're going to be very clear about this, in 1990, when was the Gulf War? 94? It was in 94. No. It was after the second, it was after the PLP's, after the Free National Movement's first victory.
Yes, sir.
After the first victory, that's when we saw the Gulf War, and things shifted right away, intensely around the world. When these global planes shift, we're going to have to make a determination internally, locally, as to exactly what's going to happen. And I'm one, personally, I'm not going to wait for the external environment to be able to depict to me and dictate to me and say, Howard, this is what you need to do, or this is what needs to happen now. We're going to have to anticipate that, strategize, make the proper connections, make the proper steps, and ensure that we can be able to say, because a lot of things happening simultaneously. When we saw what happened in Venezuela with President Maduro, when we saw what happened in these external spaces, it's important that you have a mandate from your people. Mia Motley showed us that. Andrew Holdings showed us that. You have to have a mandate from your people during this particular time. The world needs to identify you and recognize that you are solidified, identified, and being able to be hoisted on the shoulders of your people, and you're being able to lead from a stance in a position of leadership and strength. It's time for us to be able to do that.
I don't feel the strength, as I said to you earlier, in this election. I just don't. I'm saying...
You don't feel the excitement?
It cannot be exciting when... Okay, listen. It cannot be exciting when someone complains on every single thing that occurs. That's not exciting to me. Your complaints continue to be like a mosquito in my ear. Everything is a problem.
And who is this? Who is this, the complainant?
All voices of the opposition right now just making complaints. And I understand that many complaints may actually have some credibility, but when you complain too much, then everyone stops listening because it's just too annoying in the air. And so for me personally at this particular time, I said to you, I've said to others everywhere else, that listen, when you complain, you have to bring some solution, any kind of solution. Just prove to me that you're not just a complainer, but that you are able to actually solve issues, solve problems, bring the proof to the party. If you can prove to me that you can solve half of the things that you complain about, then I say to you, welcome to the House of Assembly.
All right. Let's take a quick commercial break, guys. When we get back, we're going to be able to talk about these particular things and dive a little bit deeper. I want to talk to you about that sort of a concept. He said that the opposition is completing. I have a little theory that I want to be able to kind of put in there. I'm sitting with Garth Roseborough. This is ZNS, The Rundown. We're going to be right back after this.
The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training advises the public that the registration process of the 2026-2027 school year for public school students has commenced. Parents are urged to register their children before the deadline of the 31st of March, 2026. Here's what you'll need: your child's proof of identity, immunization card, their most recent transcript or report card, parents or guardians' proof of identity. Register before the deadline to ensure a seamless transition into the new school year. Don't delay. Register today.
After I was in a plane crash in June 1983, I lost my left arm. I had some good friends, came along, fishing guides. They said, man, we can teach you to fly fish. Exuma, exuma. Can you see? Look at it, man. One of the nicest places you want to be in the world. There were challenges learning to cast, learning to put a fly on a leader, learning to tie the different knots for me as a handicapped individual. As a matter of fact, I don't really feel handicapped because I could do everything, man. Anything anybody could do, I think I could do it too. Because with your mindset to do anything, no matter what you are, what you look like, what's happening to you, you can do it. Persons in our positions, it's hard to get fundings and very, very expensive. SBDC would be helpful in regards to help funding people with disabilities. So nothing is impossible if you're disabled, any kind of disability. Put faith in God and trust God. Believe you will overcome.
I don't know, but what kind of cars? Are you serious, man? You ain't even know where to park? Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Look at this way. Like, you ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park him. Just don't park him. Don't park him again. That's handicap. No, man, you can't park him. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, Boy, what's going on, dog? Man, I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way parking, man. I tell you we shouldn't park here. Don't get one of these things. My bad, big bro. And he got a sticker inside that say this model. We gotta move. This is a handicap spot. That's what we gotta move. But we gotta move. Don't. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rundown with Howard Grant, sitting here with you with none other than my very good friend, Garth Roseborough, being able to talk to us just a little bit about politics in wartime. That's all this is, just politics in wartime. And I know that we're not necessarily one of those persons that, we're not kind of a doomsdayers, right? We are not a people that believes that we're not protected. We believe in our faith, in our position, in our conviction, but we also know with very clear understandings our proximity to the United States of America, sort of a chain, a cord that has been feeding us for a very long time. As I've identified over the years, our position of being able to find ourselves, being able to consume and whatnot, and celebrate about this sort of an idea about how many persons are coming just right from across the street, you know, right over the pond. We recognize our strength. We recognize our proximity. We recognize our sun, sand, and our sea. And over the years, over our 52 years of independence with clarity, as the commoners has taken over this particular space, we recognize something. There's some patterns that happen from a global standpoint, and these patterns affect us. One of those patterns is war. This war that's happening right now in Iran, this war that's happening over Iran and Israel, and being able to see even Dubai had persons being able to do it. This is a touristic destination. Does it affect the Bahamas? I'm sitting here with Garth Roseborough, being able to have this kind of a conversation. Garth, when we left off, you talked about this sort of an idea about the Free National Movement being able to utilize this as fodder and using this as power, but you're not being able to see any electricity, you're not being able to see any excitement, you're not being able to see them exuberant in their political state and position. Talk to me about that.
You know, I'm right here in my mind and becoming extremely mischievous, Howard Grant.
Lord Jesus. Whenever you say that, I got down yet.
Yeah, but I tell you why. I tell you, maybe, just possibly, this is the miracle that the royal opposition has been looking for, to take their mind off of Hubert Alexander Menace and focus on issues and victory. This might actually do it. They may have enough situations that they can speak to. They may have enough voice that they may be able to complain against. I would say, as you rightly said, if I were in this to win this, and I was the present government, I would go for an earlier general election. But if you prolong this and things begin to go south, then you very well know the possibility of opposition forces gaining ground. It's just that simple, Howard Grant. It's nothing
and
different.
They're not gaining ground because of their intuition, because of their spending, because of anything else other than your potential demise. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
They're not gaining ground because of anything that they would have done. They're only gaining ground because, let's say proverbially, the fella was looking at your girl the entire time, and then you did something, you got to go away for 4 years. He gained ground because he become more charming, or he had an insight or capability. He just, proximity, timing, and time and chance happens to everyone. And so if the Free National Movement was waiting on this particular time, the issue is the time is now.
Now, I'll tell you the telltale signs that you look for. Look for a spike in tourist arrivals in New Orleans and in Florida. Just take a good look at that. The summer is on its way. We're going into spring. People have gone through a very tough winter this year. You know, the temperatures were extremely low and very cold. People are looking for that getaway. If Americans decide that they're going to jump in their cars, their vehicles,
and drive south,
we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So with that warning given, with the cost of living possibly rising, the cost of fuel going up, airline prices going up.
But this is heavy what you're saying, because they might not necessarily take that route in the event that fuel rises. Because who can do a road trip if gas is $6 a gallon in the United States of America? That's an expensive road trip.
This is when the road trip goes from the city to the country. It's very simple. Americans can always adapt. They got a whole 50 states right there in front of their faces. They could move. You can get on a train and go from state to state. They have options. We don't. We have to find a way now to wiggle and survive.
Well, I would say this, and one of the things that I wanted to be able to bring to the forefront with you is this sort of an idea associated with habits.
The Free National Movement during the last general election cycle, that we saw victory for them, despite the tribulation that was happening in their camp with leadership, and Loretta being able to take on a particular position, and Menace being able to be stubborn and being able to hold on to his position in the organization, Loretta in the House, so forth and so on. And so the dynamics associated with that, they held on. The entire time they held on. I want to say to you, from 2012 to 2026, the Free National Movement has had some level of internal turmoil, but they still found victory in 2017. Now, how did this happen?
Well,
this happened, now let's talk about this, within the space of 21 days. It takes the human mind 21 days to create a habit. That's it. The Free National Movement, all of their sponsors, all of their donors, all of the persons, they've concentrated their time into 1 month period before the general election. And they hit you and bombard you with whether that's entertainment, whether that's excitement, whether that's social media ads, whatever this particular thing is, and that branding shifts in your mind and they become susceptible. If we look historically, we've not seen a prolonged campaign from the Free National Movement anytime. The PLP has always had a prolonged campaign. Their campaign has existed within the parties. In fact, the PLP kicked off their campaign last year on Labor Day, last year. And they're now leading up to, potentially, if we look at this, a 1-year campaign. If they were looking at possibly going to a general election in June, a 1-year campaign. And to be able to identify this and have that incremental growth and expansion, they're doing well. The Free National Movement is still being able to give you that sort of a poor man's campaign with concentration on the very last 30 days before the general election. Before the general election in 2017, the Free National Movement, before the last 30 days, the Free National Movement was nowhere in sight. Talk to me.
Well, I'm looking now to...
There was nowhere in sight.
I'm looking now too at something that they could possibly be attempting to hang on to, which would be the airport and hotel in Grand Bahama. If tourist arrivals were challenged and locals were challenged in terms of garnering revenue from those who are visiting Grand Bahama, with this war now I guess, happening at this particular time, I tell you, it's really shaking to me now. What happens to Grand Bahama? What happens to the tourist arrivals in Grand Bahama? If that is even shaken a bit, you being from Grand Bahama, do you see the Grand Bahamians' faith in this government weaning even more than it has already? Or do you think they will understand that during this tumultuous time that the government just needs a bit more wiggle room?
The PLP is making no bones about their position in Grand Bahama. They recognize historically the value that the Grand Bahamians have placed in the Free National Movement, but this administration, and more specifically this leader, and Philip Brave Davis, has decided to do something and challenge the proverbial beast that exists in this particular space and take it on head on. For him to be able to identify the strength that existed here and even the articulation that was that presided over the island of Grand Bahama, that said this is a quasi-government. For him to break up this sort of a concept and say that the only central power and authority that exists in this country is central government. For him to be able to come into this kind of a space and say, we recognize these things, but the right thing and the righteous thing to do is to be able to purchase this, is to pay off these persons, is to do these particular things. There is sort of a moral thing that's happening here, and not just for the political will and what's happening in these particular spaces. So we must be able to identify this and recognize, or really be able to have a conversation as to whether or not the PLP wants to do this for the purposes of political brownie points, or they're doing this because this is the right and righteous thing to do. It's time for them to be able to make this determination. Talk to me.
No, I think right now everything is politics.
Yeah.
I think everything has to be politics.
Yeah.
And I think right now a decision has been made in the mind of the Prime Minister, the leader of the party. Do you truly want to win? And as you said, win by how much? It's going to be a gamble. Yes, it will. But what is the probability? And I think we need someone who can be an expert on probability. What is the chances of victory for this governing party, or what are the chances of the opposition gaining ground?
Well, I've received information that in the Grand Bahama more specifically, the PLP is coming for the whole hog. Well, that's going to be it's an exciting time. I want to thank you guys so much for being able to tune in with us. It is always an exciting time. That does it here for us here at The Rundown. Be sure that you stay locked in. The ZNS Network News here for the news tonight at 11 p.m. is the final newscast in the country with the latest in news and information with Corvell Pye from all of us here at ZNS. I'm Howard Grant. Thanks so much for joining.
When I first introduced the program to them, some of them was reluctant at first that I don't know about agriculture, I don't know anything about farming.
The young man mentioned trauma that they experienced, that they saw the gardening as an escape.
So we need to ensure that our young men are exposed to initiatives that can improve their skills.
That's Taking Social Services to the People, Monday at 9:30 p.m. on ZNS Television.
Coming this fall, Royston Jones and Melina Leonard on the Bahamas Tonight Access Now. Weekdays, 7:30 p.m. Tune in and get your fill of community news. Family Island news, entertainment, and, well, sometimes slithering animals. That's the Bahamas Tonight Access Now. Weekdays, 7:30 p.m. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
What you see on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcasted by this television station. The code is available on IRCA's website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
In Harbour Island, North Venezuela, I'm Charles Fisher. This is ZNS.